arigatou gozaimasu. Okay. I'm gonna let the thingy cook a bit. Oh wait, is my thing? It is! Hello everyone. That is so. Oh my god, that's so awesome! I swear, my job don't celebrate nothing. We get like 2 days off. That is so crazy. Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh wait, wait. Somebody's saying my voice sounds robotic. Hold on, let me try changing. Oopsies. Properties. Okay, how about now? Does it sound better now? Testing, testing. Can I change this? It goes up, down, turn around, talk about you. Oh, Jazz is muted? Jazz, say something? What? Oh, hold on. Oopsies, oopsies. All right, let's see. It should work now. Okay, say something?
Me?
Okay.
Hi.
There we go. There's better.
Really?
Okay. My bad. I had my settings from when I was okay. Okay, Jay is normal. Can't hear Jazz. Jazz is muted. Okay, you're no longer she should be no longer muted. My bad, y'all. Okay, then we can just restart. Hold on.
Oh god. Rumby? Like Gumby?
What's up, guys? This is our first start. We didn't start twice. Welcome to the podcast. It's Saturday, so you know we're here with another episode of the Daily Dose Podcast featuring me and Jazz. Jazz, tell the people how you're doing.
Well, yeah, this is the first time that I'm saying this, but I
Breaking
may or may
news.
not have. But yesterday apparently was Employee Day or something like that. Appreciation Day, so I had half a day of work, so that was
So
great.
lucky. Wait, did you get to pick what half you could take off, or was it just like everyone after? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just assumed it was after 12 because I have my, what is it, not daily, bi-daily meeting in the morning. So it
Ah,
made
okay.
sense to leave at 12.
Honestly, if you think about it, if you start at 9, that's 3 hours of an 8 hour, right? Unless you start.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, so you leave at 12:30.
There you go. Well, yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
get any of that. I just worked. I was worked to the bone per usual. No, but I'm honestly so like sad that my work doesn't really acknowledge a lot of like
Holidays.
yeah, holidays. But hello everyone, thank you and welcome back to the podcast. We have a pretty hefty lineup here, so let's just like talk about the elephant in the room. There is like 3,001 bullying scandals currently like happening within the K-pop and not even just the K-pop, honestly, because actors and people like that have been getting dragged for this too. And I would have loved to like sit here and talk about all of them, honestly, but unfortunately, like there's just so many. So I just decided to like as like talking points, just bring up the two that we had mentioned previously. And then at the end, when we have like the space for bringing up news that anyone wants to talk about, we can kind of pull if you guys have updates on anything. But I already asked you, Jazz, like, have you been following it, or has it just been too overwhelming with
It's
literally?
very overwhelming. It's just so much because I'll just like anytime I'm on Reddit, it's just like here's another thing about this, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what's happening anymore. I'll just
Honestly,
let it like get to like more like I don't know when there's like an actual case that I can follow or something. Like then I'll like join in, but I don't know. It's so much.
yeah, honestly. And I remember when it first, all these started first breaking out, a lot of people were like super skeptical. They were like, oh, like some of these people got to be lying. Like there's no way that all these people were bullies. And it's like, as we're like getting more and more evidence, it's like, yeah, I think all these people were just bullies. Like I feel like it was just, but it's such a coincidence because it's like, why are all the bullies getting famous? Like what are the odds, I guess?
Mm-hmm.
But I
I
guess
guess.
like maybe it's a huge issue, like the bullying, in South Korea. It's possibly who, I'm not going to say for sure because I haven't really done my research, but so, maybe it's just that, it's, out of all the people who are bullies, there's a percentage of them that are going to become famous or whatever. But I think that's like just like, why are all these people who just had like, and it's not even like, oh, not to say any bullying is less serious than the other, but it's not even like, oh, this person, I don't know, like stole my lunch money. It's like this person beat me and my friend senseless for years and then like spit on our underwear. Like it's just like crazy like thing. And I'm like, y'all
Yeah.
really be out here. So it's really like scary just to see who's like, um, who's like just, I don't know, who's next. Andre says, I swear I'm just waiting for somebody to be removed from a group because the suspense and speculation are too much. I mean, I can't remember what happened with Hyunjin from Stray Kids, but wasn't he essentially not removed, but they like halted his activities, I'm pretty sure.
Is he the one that was removed completely before, or is this the one that's a part of this?
Part of
Is there
this.
one? Okay.
Yeah, he was called out recently. I'm pretty sure he got because I know people were pissed at JYP because they're like, why aren't you backing him? Why aren't you like why are you removing him? Makes him look guilty. Christine says, I see the start of stories, but then there are so much I can't keep up with all the stories. Exactly, it's so hard. LD says, same. There are too many I can't even keep up. Yeah, it's just becoming so crazy, which is sad because I think it's a mixture of like people are seeing all this stuff and it's like inspiring them to speak out, but at the same time I feel like there's so many that like it's actually burying some of them, and I feel like some people are probably going to just kind of get away with like a slap on the wrist or not really having to address anything or being able to shoot away because there's just so many. And it's like realistically, like not to be shady, but I feel like the more popular people who have accusations are going to get a lot more of the limelight, and their like victims are gonna get a lot more of the limelight than if it's just like, I don't know, like like there was like a apparently like somebody in a fairly new boy group who got accused, and I'm like, well, I don't even think anyone knows the boy group, so like I feel like nobody's gonna take it seriously or really look into it. um
Mm,
but oh, okay.
that's true.
Andre says he's on hiatus, Mingyu's on hiatus, Soojin's on hiatus. Yeah, they're all gonna. I mean, here's the thing. I think it's like, well, I'm just gonna get into it, but I think it's one of those things where it's like, I think labels are being careful because it's like, while maybe they don't 100% agree with what the victims are saying, I feel like they also would rather have that individual idol go down than the whole group go down. So it's
Mm,
easier for while they're trying to confirm stuff to just take the person out.
yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
true.
like it kind of reminds me of like Wonho, like how they were just like, well, we don't know if you smoked this weed or whatever, but like to be on the safe side, get the hell out of the group.
Oh no. Yeah.
Like,
It's like what's well no, he was caught. I was gonna say what's his name? BI?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think he was actually caught. It's okay.
I they like gather, yeah. Um, was the stuff about Mingyu true? I really did not follow up on Mingyu's. I feel like
Yeah,
I've been
I tried and then I was like, there's too much happening. Like there would be like one article coming out where it's like, this is true, and then another article being like, this was debunked or something. And I'm like, I don't know if this is really debunked. I don't feel like reading. You guys keep coming out with new things and then debunks, and I don't know which one's which. I don't know what's debunking what.
exactly. Exactly. And the thing is, I feel like depending that like the whole idea that like people never want their fave to look too bad comes into play because it's like you got to be really careful where you're hearing the news from because somebody might translate in a way that doesn't sound as bad, might leave out certain parts,
Mhm.
obviously if, because I know specifically in Soojin's apology or her statement about her specific bully accusations, she said that like while the girl was accusing her of bullying her and her sister, the person who made the original post, she said that it wasn't bullying, they were fighting, like they were friends, and then they got into a tiff, and then they were just fighting each other, and all the other accusations were false. So it's like maybe to Soojin, she genuinely was like, I was not bullying you, girl. We were going at it. So it's just like, do you believe Soojin? Do you believe the original OP of the story that it was straight up
Mhm.
bullying? It's like, and I think what's interesting with Soojin's case is that it doesn't really look like they're backing down from the idea that it
They're
wasn't,
friends.
yeah, that they were friends and it wasn't bullying. It was just two people getting into a fight. But I'll get into that. I just want to real quick read the statement, the most recent statement I can find about the whole thing that happened with Mingyu, just because I want to make sure that, we know like the latest on him. So I'm gonna switch modes real
Yeah.
quick. Uh, all right. So in regards to Mingyu, we're going to our fave Soompi. This article was released 7 days ago, and it says that Playtist had released a statement about the allegations following Mingyu. So on February 28th, Playtist released a statement about their about the school violence accusations Mingyu was being accused of. So apparently, initially, they denied the post was true. Initially, and then, well, let me just read the statement. It says, we are Playtist. We announce our position on the claims that were posed online regarding 17-member Mingyu school days. Says they first apologized for not issuing a statement more promptly. Says after recent claims were made, we had to check with the artist himself and take in additional procedures to verify facts. In the process, we confirmed that there is a discrepancy between what was posted and what we have checked with the artist. As there are many issues being raised socially regarding school violence, we decided it was foremost in importance to check the exact facts of the matter and are currently carrying out steps to verify every matter. We apologize. We are late in announcing our position. We use various ways to contact the person involved in the matter at the time in order to verify the exact facts and are currently in touch with them as well. We have checked with the artist's former classmates and other acquaintances about circumstances at the time. To first explain what has been confirmed so far, it was said that the artist bullied a student with disabilities, but it was completely false. The artist clearly remembers the person who is being referred to as the victim, so we were able to contact their mother after asking around. She has confirmed to us that the person being referred to as a victim had in fact been on good terms with the artist. That's really interesting to talk to the mom and not the person themselves, but okay.
Mm,
The mother remembered the names of the students who bullied her child at school. Oh, so she was able to confirm this fact with us immediately. The person who was referred to as a victim is currently living well in society and feels burdened about the incident of their past being known without their consent and in a way they did not wish for. Despite this, they have verified the facts with us for the sake of the artist. We are actively looking into other matters as well. However, it is definitely difficult to identify the people who uploaded the online post, and in some of the posts, the writer has expressed their reluctance to be reached out to, making it a situation in which it is not only difficult to get in contact with them, but also one that requires discretion. We respect the writer's position of not wanting a direct confrontation. At the same time, if it's what the writer wants, we are opening to meeting with the writer and confirming the facts at any time in a way they prefer. We have no objections about the opinion that the society-wide issue of school violence must be considered from a victim's perspective. However, in addition to the victim's perspective, we determined it was necessary to clarify facts. Let's see. The matter that were deemed problematic were incidents that took place in the past when the artist was in elementary school and middle school, so we believe that it's necessary to verify the facts and get as close as possible to what really happened. The artist himself shared his apology for causing discomfort to fans due to the issue. He has temporarily halted schedules in his activities and trusted the company. Okay, so it seems like they're pretty, you know, supporting the stance that he didn't do anything wrong, but they're just making sure and double checking. So I guess that's the latest update with Mingyu. But like I said, I think it's one of those cautionary things because if they do find something, I think they want to be like, well, he already halted, so let's just like end that contract real quick. Because
mm.
I think there's probably nothing worse than keeping him around if they find something. Which I think is kind of fair. Like, I know a lot of people with the Hyunjin case were like, you should, like, just let him, like, blah, blah. But I think there's nothing wrong with just being like, wait here while we confirm everything.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, one, it might affect the other members. And two, if they do stuff, like any type of activities or whatever, I feel like everything's just going to surround like, oh, Mingyu this, Mingyu that. Like if they go on a show,
Yeah.
all the articles are going to be like, oh, 17 performs this on Inkigayo. 17, who currently has been in a controversy because remember, Mingyu is like, it's going to always be that.
Yeah. I also think like it's for him too, because if like I don't know, it keeps his name out of the press because it's like he's not doing anything. Like if he were to have individual like things that he was supposed to be doing, then it's like no one can be like, oh, why are you inviting Mingyu to this? And blah blah blah. Why is Mingyu still here? Why is he still doing his things? Like it's better on him, like especially if he's innocent, that then it's like it doesn't mess with his mind as much
Mm-hmm.
in the future. He doesn't get as many comments. I think it lowers that chance of like people getting to him.
Yeah. Actually, that's actually a really good take. Like, I feel like nobody considers that maybe the artist wants to just kind of chill out for a sec because all this stuff is
Yeah.
being thrown at them. So, and I definitely think that's the case in a lot of these. It's not necessarily like the company giving up on them, but trying to like let them take a breather. So that was the update on Mingyu, and I think we might as well just jump into the first story I have here, which is an update on Jisoo. So I did talk about this a little on my stream on Wednesday, when I was on Twitch. And so I just want to go over some of the key points before we jump into the most recent, you know, uh, I guess, developments. So just as a quick run through, on March 2nd, an anonymous post was made on an online forum accusing actor Kim Ji-soo of bullying and violence during middle school. So the OP of the post essentially said that they went to middle school with Ji-soo from 2006 to 2008, and it was basically Ji-soo and like his friend of like delinquents, who would essentially like run the school like in fear. So the OP says that they would beat up any student that like did them wrong or they felt like insulted them or whatever. They would make students buy them cigarettes. They would throw student food at students during lunch. They said that the OP said that he was bullied, and essentially when they bullied him, they like made him an outcast. Were violent towards him, blackmailing, insults, and just like abusive language. And on top of that, they ordered other classmates to bully OP so they can stay out of trouble. So essentially, if you wanted to be in good with Jisoo and his delinquent friends, you had to like be mean to OP. And what was really sad is that in the statement, the OP said that the reason why they became a target is because they tried to help another student that they were bullying, and so they didn't like that, and they're like, oh, okay, well now you're like on our hit list. And apparently the OP also said that they threatened that like if any student tried to speak with the OP, they would die by, the crew's hands. And he also said that Jisoo would carry around a BB gun and fire it at students for fun. And so, like, the big, like, standout part of the statement, aside from, like, all the accusations, was that they said that they didn't want an apology or any compensation, and that they didn't even want Jisoo to, like, quit acting. They just essentially just wanted the world to know that he was like a school violence perpetrator, and have to kind of live with that in the way that the victims have to live with that for the rest of their lives. So the following day, Jisoo's agency, Key East, released a statement essentially saying that they needed time to look into the issue, which is fair. And then the next day, March 4th, Jisoo posted a handwritten letter to his Instagram where he essentially admitted to it and he apologized for his actions. And he said that, like, he specifically was saying that this was something that had been guilty on his conscience ever since he blew up in, like, the entertainment industry. And even, like, today, with all his success, he's still very guilty about that. And so, he was like, I'm super apologetic, I'm sorry to the victims. And then he's currently starring in a drama, so he was also very like apologetic to the people who work on the drama and the fellow casting crew, because he's like, I just don't want them to be affected by this anymore. So the following day, March 5th, Key East releases another statement in kind of regards to Jisoo's apology, where they apologize on his behalf. Now, one thing that's interesting is that they claimed that while some things that in the original accusation were true, they were saying that some things, after checking with Jisoo, some things were like exaggerated and distorted, but I guess in like, maybe they talked over with Jisoo, but in his original apology, he didn't like nitpick. He just apologized for everything because I guess he didn't want to be like, well, this is true, but this is not. He just like made like a blanket statement apology. But specifically, there was another rumor, not in that original statement, not the original allegations, but people were saying, accusing him of like sexual violence with coercion, but they were saying that was flat out false. And so they said that Jisoo would immediately halt activities so they could figure it all out. But the same day, it was announced that his character, Ondal, which he plays in his current drama, River Where the Moon Rises, has been recast and will now be played by actor Na In Woo from episode 9 on. And I also read something where he was like edited. Yeah, I read something where he apparently was being edited out of all the episodes that he currently had filmed already. And then it
What?
was, yeah, I don't know. I don't, see, the thing is, I didn't watch, I should have did better research. I haven't watched it, so I don't know how, I'm guessing he's a main character, but I don't know like how that works. I don't know if they edit him out and they're just going to replace him with the new actor in those parts or whatever. But it seems like from episode 9 on, that he's not going to be in it anymore. So I don't know if that
That
means
seems like a lot of. That seems like a lot. I mean, recasting him, okay, cool. But then to go back and edit out all of this stuff, that, I mean,
oh I
that's a lot of work.
I don't think like they went back. Like I don't think they like started from episode 1 and like
Oh,
edited it. Yeah, I think like
oh.
anything that's currently airing. Yeah, imagine. Oh my god, that would be so much work.
I was going to be like,
Yeah,
I think there's other places you can put the money. You don't need to go back and do that. Like, dang,
that would be
that's a
so
lot of work.
much. Oh my god. And then lastly, it was announced that Jisoo would enlist in the military in the second half of the year. But specifically, I read that he was going to be like a social worker because he had gotten a surgery in 2016, which I guess makes him ineligible of being like an active military service. So I will just have to say, it's crazy how this guy's career literally tanked in like 5 days. Like, not saying that it's not deserved, not saying that like everyone should forgive him or whatever, but it's just crazy how, with the quickness from the initial accusation to today, how that literally he's done. Like, essentially, he's done. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I think like, there's some time before he goes to the army. I don't really see anyone casting him in anything between that time. But I think like, with the way this went, he admitted to most of it. People know that this is how he was. And I think, it's interesting because in that original OP, that guy was like, you can keep acting, but I want people to know how that, you're a school violence perpetrator. And I feel like there's no way those two words can, those two worlds can exist. You know what I'm saying? Him being a school
Mhm.
violence perpetrator and him still having a flourishing career. So I thought that was like pretty interesting. Now, I guess the question I had was that, um, oh wait, sorry, somebody had a clarification. Yeah, Jisoo got recasted and they aren't airing reruns. Oh wow, so they're not gonna show anything with him in it ever again. That's crazy. When they when the drama re-airs, they're gonna start from episode 9. It's like, go on Wikipedia, fill in the blanks, girl. Like, we're not trying to.
Like, I think that's a little bit extreme. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's one of those things. What it kind of reminded me of, and just in the similarity of when somebody who's like a figurehead gets into a problematic scandal. Now, I don't know how royalties and things like that work in Korea, but I know in America, if you get a negotiated in your contract, you get money anytime something re-airs on TV. So I remember particularly with the Bill Cosby show, before, when Bill Cosby, initially got accused of all those like and not only accused, but it was confirmed because he got thrown in jail. All those like allegations, they like stopped airing like the Cosby Show. And the Cosby Show, I don't know exactly where it was re-airing, but I know that like when I was younger, it used to air a lot or whatever. And so it was like kind of this debate because people are like, yeah, Bill Cosby trash, like, trash. This makes sense that nobody wants anything to do with him. But at the same time, like a lot of those people who are on that show who maybe aren't super active in the acting world now or in the entertainment business, they got royalties from that. So because of him and because it's not airing anymore, they can no longer benefit from all that past work because it's just not being shown. In a similar way, again, I don't know how the royalties work, but if they're not going to air episodes 1 through 9, and obviously, like, the characters probably, are going to be in it on, like, maybe if there's a character that died early on and, episode 5 was the only episode they're in and now it's never going to air, that sucks. But it must suck because it's like now all that hard work they put into, like, non-Jisoo cast members put in, it's like gone, you know.
Yeah. I feel like it's like a separating artist from the art type of thing. I remember like a lot of people were thinking about that when the Kevin Spacey thing, because I loved Kevin Spacey movies. Like I used to love him, and then all this stuff happened, and I was like, oh gosh. But I'm still gonna watch American Beauty though, because that is a good movie. Like I just think I don't know. It seems weird to me to just be like, well, he was in here, so he has tarnished this all. Like no, if it's a good show, and there's other people, like as you said, like there's just delete it from existence? It's just weird to me.
Yeah, I think it's like you gotta like weigh the pros and cons, because if you think about it, so like, are we gonna now not show anything Jisoo was in ever? Because he has like a history, and like the thing is, I'm not saying that like, oh, Jisoo deserves another chance or whatever. You guys need to like him. I'm saying in regards to the other people who are suffering because him. And to be fair, those people might not care. They're like, if it makes these victims of violence that he perpetrated makes it feel better, it makes them feel better, then I'm willing to forgo any type of recognition, royalties, etc., that may have come with these things that I did with Jisoo airing. But at the same time, maybe some of them, they were like, that was my big break, and now this guy is ruining that for me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Andre says, I guess my question is, if this was hanging over his conscience, why not apologize sooner? Like I asked, these bullying things first started, why not apologize beforehand? Now that's actually quite interesting, because that was actually my next question. So obviously this went the way that it did, where, Jisoo got gathered and he's essentially, I don't see him coming back from this. I think it's important to note that his entertainment label has not like dropped him or anything yet. It's just that he's been dropped from this drama, and obviously he's taking that route of like, when a male idol gets into a scandal, they go to the military. But could have there ever been an outcome where he could have kept his career whilst this being his past? Like, could he have, I don't know, when he first gotten popular early on his career, said something, if he had apologized back then, because this is some like little evil stuff he's been being accused of. Like I said, it's not just a typical he took my lunch money. It's like, no, he was making people's lives living like hells. So realistically, is there a world where somebody who has a bullying past can go on to be a famous celebrity without anyone being like, no, we're canceling you?
I mean, if you own up to it, I guess. Like if you join like organizations that are like going against bullying or something, and you're like, yeah, I used to be a bully. Like I'm not afraid to say that. I'm giving money to these people because this is something I want to stop, and I don't want people to be like me. And then you still do what you do because like you're obviously showing that you've grown as a person. And I want and hopefully when they're doing that, it's not like fake. You're just doing it because someone's telling you like, oh, you had a bullying past, all right, let's try and cover that up.
Yeah.
You're just like going to these conferences and you just kind of like play it up like you actually cared. Like hopefully like when they do that, it's like realistic, like they feel that it was wrong.
Red Light, jumping in the chat, Red Light says it's easier to separate actors from their work because their job is to play pretend. Other artists are different. That's all I got on that. I feel like that's I think that's good because like you said, like it's like Kevin Spacey was in American Beauty, but he wasn't playing, gross ass predator Kevin Spacey. He was playing a whole different character with different people versus like, I don't know, like Michael Jackson or Tory Lanez or something like that. It's like, well, like, if I support his music or something like that, all that's directly going to him. While like with Kevin Spacey or something, maybe if you like to watch American Beauty, like there's other people who were in American Beauty. Like, he didn't even write it.
Mm.
He didn't even, who knows if he has like a royalty thing where he gets paid if somebody buys the movie today. It might have just been a flat free. So that's actually a really interesting argument. Like, depending on who it is, they get different. Watching something they're in or enjoying something that they participate in might, result in different types of benefits for them, I guess. Does that make sense?
I just feel bad because like things like like your Michael Jackson
Mm-hmm.
example, it's like it's not even like about the royalties sometimes for like fans. It's like that's sometimes that was like their childhood,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you grew up listening to this, so now it's like you're told to just like erase a part of your freaking life
Mm-hmm.
because they were a douchey person. It's like their art is still like something that was special to you. The person might not be because like the person is not the art.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't know. That's why I was like separation of art and artist is like something I feel like people need to learn to do, but at the same time, it's hard because of the fact that you said like they do get royalties. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
you're supporting them, but it's like also it's such a weird thing to me.
No,
It's
I
hard.
agree. It is very hard. And I remember Pete Davidson, he made this joke about how, like, um, what it should be is, and obviously he was joking, but he was like, what it should be that if you can still enjoy the person's art, but you have to admit that they're shitty. Like, you have to admit, because
Oh
I
yeah,
think
I remember that.
that's the problem. It's not just like, Michael Jackson fans in this case saying that, well, I'm gonna listen to Remember the Time Regards. It's like, I'm gonna listen to Remember the Time. And also, he didn't do this, and you're lying. If you think that he did this, then you're a piece of crap, and always trying to bring a black man down. It's like two things can be true. You can enjoy the music, and it also be like what you said with Kevin Spacey. Like, you can still like American Beauty. Lying that you never liked it is just strange, but also be like, yeah, but also he did this horrible thing. I think that's the problem a lot of times, and I feel like it's interesting because to separate the artist from the music is always used when it's like, somebody's like, when somebody wants to still like something without being like criticized for it, which I think there's an argument for that. Like, you don't necessarily have to tear down somebody who like is like, well, I did like Remember the Time, like Thriller was a bop or something like that. But they don't want, like, they just want to be allowed to like that music without criticism, but not the people who want to like the song, and because they like the music they feel like they have to defend the artist no matter what, and they feel like they have to act like the artist never did anything bad. So I think that, like, sometimes, people just need to like I think it just goes into that whole idolizing famous people too much. Like, it's like, just enjoy that they made a bomb movie. Like, you don't have to die by their like freaking
Yeah.
honor, like, I don't know. um Leanne says, I think in this specific case, it's not possible to me just because what he did was so awful. But maybe if the what he did wasn't as extreme and horrible, it might have been possible. I agree. I think there is also like different levels to that. Like, I think and obviously it helps because it's like Jisoo, like, it's not like that's my fave or something, like, so it's like it's very easy for me to be like, I'm just not gonna support anything he's in because I will never did in the first. No, just kidding. That makes me seem like I never supported him. I'm better. But no, it's like easy or whatever. Like, some people in general, like, it's just like, yeah, because I think a lot of times it's like hard because if I think of that person, I think of their victims immediately, and I'm just like, ooh, nah, like, I can't. But, I think, again, everyone has like a different threshold too. For example, to a lot of people, somebody being racist or like a K-pop idol saying something racist is not a deal breaker for them. Like, they're just like, that was a long time ago or whatever. But for some people, that was like, no, because, maybe I got bullied for something similar, like making fun of darker skin or saying black people are X, Y, and Z or something like that. So I'm not gonna support somebody who's spreading that message or has the ideals. Um, but yeah. Daylight says, is that, or you can generally separate actors because unless they also directed or wrote the movie or show, really doesn't belong to them. That's true. That's true. This is random, but you know what always like weirds me out? So you know how like in anime, or maybe not even in anime, but just in animation in general, but specifically I think my example is going to be an anime, when like there'll be like a convention, right? So a voice actor will be at a convention, and then somebody will like, you know, come up to the convention, like during the convention, and maybe there's like a Q&A session. So somebody will come up to the mic and be like, hi, I'm a huge fan, I don't know, Travis Willingham and Johnny Gambosh or whatever, and I just wanted to know, I know you play, I don't know, Ichigo in Bleach. So, what do you think he would have done if X, Y, and Z? Or do you think he, like, I've been fighting online with people who think that he's this, but he's this. And I always thought that was weird because, yes, while you have to, like, know the character pretty well, the voice actor, them, like, those voice actors did not make the character. So, asking how they would think or feel or taking it for, like, as gospel. I always thought that was so weird because, like, at the end of the day, their opinion is the equivalent to your opinion because they also did not write this show, you know?
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah. I guess it depends on who you're talking to, because some people I think have like more like say in what their character will do.
Yeah,
I don't think anime
yeah,
people will ever have that power, especially because it's not usually American made. So it's like if it's you're talking to the person who spoke did the English dub, they're probably gonna like, yeah, I think this, but they're never gonna get to Japan and actually talk to the person who created the show usually.
and even if they do, like, I feel like that still doesn't give them like an authority on like
Yeah.
how this character is. Like, it's just so weird. Like I remember Vic Mignogna. I'm not even allowed to say that anymore.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I was like, why are you making that face?
Vic
I
Mignogna
forgot that.
got dragged, and maybe I'm just spreading rumors, but there is a rumor that Vic Mignogna was getting dragged because a character he played in something, he allegedly said that, like, I guess some fan was asking like about this character, like whether they were gay or not, with like another character, and he said allegedly, I'm gonna say allegedly because I'm not sure, but he allegedly said that they weren't, and he didn't feel like they were. But then, like, you know, I guess the studio that made that anime has a tendency to put like, you know, LGBT characters in the show, so people are like, you're wrong. And I'm like, okay, why even ask him? Because why does it matter what he thinks, you know?
Yeah.
Because it has no bearing on how the story is actually being written. So I just always thought, I was like, who cares? Like, um, Red Light said, even with SNS, how weird is it to try to go back and apologize for all that, especially if it's kind of like, just don't cancel me in the future. I want there to be a way, but I'm not sure. That's true. It's hard because it's like, I feel like the apology would have had to happen before he even got famous. Because even then, if he pops off, there's always that thing in the back of your mind. Like, he's only apologizing because he knows that if these people come out and say anything about what he was doing as like back in school, he's done. So I don't know. But it's one of those things where people, it like goes into that bigger like debate, like should somebody forever be held for their like for the shitty stuff they did as a kid. And this idea, I feel like yes, because I think like the OP made a great point where he's just like, I want you to have that on you, like all the people who got bullied in middle school, have them on, have to live with that for the rest of your life. um but yeah. Andre said, he who must not be named to Vic Mignogna. But yeah, I think overall, I think it's kind of like a wrap for him. I really can't see him coming back even after he does his military service. But I mean, maybe he's made a lot of money by now, so he doesn't even need to come back, and he can just,
Yeah.
I don't know, retire. But
I mean, you never know though. With I don't know. There's always those famous people that just somehow crawl out of whatever happens to them.
that's
Like,
true.
look at Chris Brown.
That's true.
How is Chris Brown still here?
That's
We don't know, but he's still making bops, and it's kind of weird. Like it's like stop. What didn't you just like shut down your house and like have a shootout with a freaking police last week? Like, what
oh yeah. Oh my god, I remember that. And I think
the
I think in Chris Brown's case it's interesting because I think it's a situation of like a new generation finding him and not caring, right? Because I definitely think there's people who when it happened, they're like, well, what did Rihanna do? Or well, blah blah blah, or well, he makes bops, or well, that's my husband, so I'm gonna like stand him regardless. But I feel like you know those people who are always like, ooh, like Usher and Chris Brown should do a verses against each other, and like to people our age, just like for what? Like why? That doesn't even make any sense. But to
I
them,
mean, but it would sound good.
it was there would be bops, but like I feel like Usher would have more
Sparingly.
hits. Like to me, it doesn't make any sense. But to them, it's like Usher or Chris Brown is as iconic as somebody maybe who was born in the '90s. Usher is, and to
Mm.
me, while I did like grow up on him or whatever, like I like separate that. Like he was like a teen idol during like my adolescence, and Usher was like an icon by then already to me. But I think a lot of people are just like, oh, that was years ago, or some people might not even know about it. Some people who were born in 2006 might be like bops. I'm not gonna check the Wikipedia. Like y'all are hating him for no
But like,
reason.
even with the recent stuff that happens with him,
They don't
you're
care.
just who?
Well, I think that
Anyway,
play-
like what?
I think that plays into the whole thing where people are like, you're trying to take him down because he's a young black man. Like, you know, how they're like, you know,
He's
that kind of
crazy
thing.
sometimes.
But yeah. Um oh wait, red light says exactly what she just said. Yeah, I do care about everyone, but I would definitely second guess intentions. But feel trapped to question it. Yeah. Uh I still can't believe Jisoo would be one of those. He's always been portrayed as the perfect BF. That's crazy. It is kind of crazy, like when like the truth comes out about people. Like,
Mm.
not that I know him that well, but like it's just to think like that. Like I said, that's like some crazy, violent, like torturous stuff. Like, and it's just I don't know. That scares me. But yeah. But yeah. Oh, sorry. But okay. But yeah, so yeah, that's it for that seems like it for Jisoo. So let's move on to somebody else who had bullying accusations that kind of well, I don't think she was the one that started. I think that was like one of the first like big idol accusations. So as some of you know, Soojin from Idol has been battling her own bullying allegations. And for a quick recap, last month, Soojin's middle school classmate and the classmates' older sister accused her of bullying them in school. Cube Entertainment stated that Soojin had fought with a classmate on her sister over the phone at the time, but the other claims of violence that they had said, weren't true. And so Soojin also personally made a statement where she like clarified the rumors, where she essentially agreed like she did not, or she essentially said the same thing, saying that she did not bully them. They were friends before, and then they kind of fell out, and then they did like fight kind of over the phone. But like additional, accusations of her like bullying and being violent, things like that weren't true. So, on March 1st, Cube Entertainment, Soojin's label, posted a statement saying, we have asked the artist, Soojin's school, teachers, and many classmates and other acquaintances about the situation at the time. Based on what we have confirmed so far, as we shared before, it is true that they fought over the phone, but we could not confirm the violence that is being alleged by the creators of the post. To clearly verify the truth, we're offered hosting a face-to-face meeting between those directly involved, not the creator of the post or another deputy. However, all parties have shared their reluctance about this, so the meeting between those directly involved did not take place. However, if those who were directly involved are open for a face-to-face meeting, we will arrange one at any time. But they also wrapped up that statement saying that Soojin will announce or will halt her activities for the time being. So what's interesting about this case is that they're pretty strong on saying that they don't believe that Soojin did anything wrong. And I think it's very like the fact that they're like, okay, if something happened, come meet us there. How about that? Like, I feel like they're really like, what you gonna do about it? But again, she ended up halting position. Now, I think this is interesting because I feel like we talked about this a couple episodes ago. How, like, with the whole YG and 2NE1 thing and the bomb scandal, one of YG's worst mistakes is not defending her to the death and not like, maybe letting her take a month hiatus break or whatever, but then putting her back out there as much as they could. Because obviously there were some shows and stuff like that that were just like kicking her off. But YG has connections. They could have pulled some strings. So in this case, do you think that it makes Soojin look guilty, or it makes them look kind of strange that like, and again, we discussed earlier that it may be them just wanting to give Soojin a break or whatever. But do you think, since it seems like they're going to bat for her so hard, it's kind of giving mixed signals that they're halting her promotions?
Not really. I don't know. It seems like it's just the norm to just halt. Like, and as I said, I feel like it's like also something for the artist where it's like if you halt it, then maybe it's like they just don't want to do anything or be seen for a bit. They just want to stay out of the limelight because they're already in it without even being seen. So maybe they just want to hide away for a bit.
That's true. I just like, as much as I agree with that, and I feel like that's like an understandable perspective, I can't help but see people who, like, who are like, okay, I agree with the victim, especially because there was a celebrity actress who kind of spoke out, be it kind of vaguely, about like her, that also went to the middle school with Soojin, and is kind of low-key giving her support, saying that, oh, she was like, bully, she was tormenting these people, like she was essentially, that she was a bully. So to me, it seems like I agree, because we've seen two instances where, the company was supporting and saying that they did not do X, Y, and Z with Mingyu and Soojin. And then we have one where, activities were halted. And I think did we read about Hyunjin? I don't know. Did he actually do? I don't remember. There's so many. It's hard to remember the conclusions. But like, I don't know. I could see people using this and be like, oh, guilty. Or, oh, like if you kind of that like thing where if you're not following the story closely, seeing a headline that she's halting promotions kind of sounds like, oh, she's guilty. So if you're not really looking into it, it might be kind of hard for like somebody who maybe is just general public and is not that invested in the story to kind of really follow up and do like the proper research to see why she's halting. So like, just from like an image or optics type of thing, it might end up flipping on public perception of her. I don't know. That's what I'm personally.
Yeah. But like, what's the good in her still going? I feel like either way, it's gonna be like people are gonna say things.
That's true. No, I agree. That's true. I just feel like. Sorry.
I was just gonna say the internet it's just crazy. So they'll say anything either way, no matter what you do.
That's
It's
true.
gonna be something bad.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I'm just trying to think like from a PR perspective. I want like it must be really really hard from a PR perspective to like decide what you're gonna do in situations like this, because it's like, yeah, you're right. She probably needs a break from this all. Like we discussed before, people are gonna like always mention that she's going through these bullying allegations with anything that Idol does, which would be like kind of annoying. But then I think on the other hand, a lot of people take this kind of reaction as an admission of guilt, even, regardless of the fact that her statement and the company's statement say that they don't agree with like the accusations being thrown her way. And they don't, they're willing and open to talk to anyone who feels like, that somehow these allegations are true in some way. I don't know. I don't know, because I just feel like with the bomb thing, I always think about it, because I'm like, if YG would have done this, maybe this, not only like with how bomb situation it handled, but maybe with the 2NE1 situation, we would have saw a different thing. Like if they were just like, all right, screw the hate, the tabloids, obviously let her rest to get her mental, state in order, but we're gonna like persevere and be like, who cares about these rumors? We're just gonna push through until people remember us from something else. Because personally, I feel like that's what they did with YG. When YG was initially caught smoking weed, obviously he got a lot of hate. Obviously, people were calling bull crap on like his excuse and like the explanation on why he was doing it or whatever. But I think after a while they were like, oh, but he put out another bop, so let's like go listen to it. I don't know. It could also be interpreted as shameless if she just kept going on, like, and because maybe people saw that's her not taking the situation. So I do agree. Like, I don't know. It probably is.
I think it's just a gamble. Like, I feel like they might be like, oh, we're confident that we're going to prove that she's telling the truth. And then they think that like, sure, she might get some flack for like going on like hiatus or whatever for a bit, but when she comes back and we actually have the proof, people are gonna be like, they're gonna shut their mouths, and then she's gonna come back not caring. So it's just gonna be fine. Maybe that's what they're thinking when they do those types of things.
No, I can definitely see that. I think like yeah, I feel like the PR people, I'm gonna assume they're the professionals and they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I just always think because I feel like people can always like twist certain things certain ways. Um, Jumping in chat, no, but real talk. Do we think all these idol bullying scandals is just a cover up for something deeper or just a coincidence? I think it's like a domino effect. Like I think one person, like a couple people got called out, and then like it's emboldening other people. What do you think?
Something like that, yeah. Probably, yeah. I can't think of what they could be hiding with that.
Yeah, it's got to be something crazy because there's so
Yeah.
many. I can't even. There's so many. I can't even keep up with the bullying scandals, let alone anything
Yeah.
they might be hiding. So I guess that would be the perfect camouflage. Red Light says, imagine being a teacher slash random normal person getting a call from entertainment asking, "Hey, was A former student from 5 years ago who's now an idol friends with B? What's the T?" I was just like, click.
I'm like, okay, so here we go. You got your tea ready? All right.
I actually
So
had a burn
A,
book, so let me ask my mom so I can flip through
what
it.
year was this?
They have it on them. My middle school burn book. Yes, I have that on me. All right, let's get into it. Honestly, um, these scandals are typically attention diverting misdirecting, but this mess is a combo of a bunch of things. IDK. I don't know. I feel like this is an organic thing because I definitely think like it's one of those things like when you see like a lot of allegations, like when somebody gets called out for something, it tends to like you see it all the time. Like when Irene got called out for the whole thing, suddenly all these like videos and things like that were resurfacing, be like of her like years ago being like, "Ooh, she had a stank attitude on that," or "Ooh, this person," and then a lot of people, some people were saying, "Yeah, I had bad like examples with her too," and blah blah blah. Or like Danielle, like when he was called out for his thing, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I never liked him anyway because X, Y, and Z," and I wonder which member he doesn't like or whatever and stuff like that. So I think sometimes it can be like it can be like situations where like obviously something people are trying to divert attention. I think other times it can just be a result of like when something comes out about something, then that like I don't know triggers everyone's memory almost to be like, all right, wait, I also have a story that fits what's happening right now. Prim says, "Oh, hey, Prim, welcome to the stream. Doesn't this all speak to how schools are failing to deal with bullying and school violence? It seems like bringing up those allegations now didn't get justice back then." I mean, I feel like that is definitely a bigger conversation. Like, where were the teachers in situations like this? Where were, the principals? Like, was this something that students reported and were ignored or weren't given proper protections for? I know a lot of sometimes there can be cases where it's just like you feel so scared you don't even want to report it to the authorities. But I feel like sometimes like teachers just they're like, I don't want to bother with this. Like, let me not even. Andre says, speaking of drug scandals, wasn't Boa caught up in one? Yeah, I think it was a similar situation where she was taking a drug that was illegal in Korea, but not in other countries. And I feel like that one wasn't as bad. Like, I definitely think she got hate on it, but I think maybe after the whole thing with Park Bom, people are like, let's not do this again.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Prim says Boa was trying to bring sleeping pills from Japan into Korea under his staff's name, I believe. Ah, okay. Honey Moonlight says, "Hello, Honey Moonlight. Welcome to the stream. I don't think the bullying scandals are a cover up. Apparently, there's a whole thing in Korea right now trying to hold school bullies accountable for their actions and the big issues." Yeah, I think I don't know. I need to read more like of like the opinion from like Korean people because I definitely think like I've mentioned a couple times that it started with like these girls being ousted from like I think they're like volleyball squad because they were caught bullying, and I think that just kind of opened like a string. I mean, it's the same thing where like, you know, like the Mola camera thing, like obviously that was an issue, but with like the Sunri scandal, that kind of like brought it to light, like, you know, issues like that. So it's just like it became like a big like talking point. So I think it's similar with this, like Honeymoon Light said, where like it just kind of started a conversation. Or like every time somebody says that BTS shouldn't be go to the army, it starts that conversation as to, you know, why is X, Y, and Z athlete, why don't they have to go to the army but idols do? Like I think it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Um yeah, like really fans change when idols in a scandal. Yeah, I think there's like two kind of fans. Like there's the ones that are just like I don't mess with toxic vibes, so they're just like cancel it. But then there's the ones that just let them yeah. Exactly. Just let them even get confused. They're already writing like 10-page think pieces on why you're a hater, and it's just like you don't even have all the information either. So
they just have it in like their drafts, just ready to come out. They're like, what is he? What kind of scandal is he in? All right, let me bring out draft A, where I defend him for this type of thing.
Just need to get it to my editor real quick and send. This would be on the all K-pop forums in no time. Jadella says, I kind of think it's because of a ridiculous idea that teachers don't want to ruin the school bully's reputation that the parents do. You know, I saw that in a drama.
Like, is that the famous one or that one that was popular?
Or is it a newer one? Because this one came out last year, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it was like last year.
Oh, Itaewon Class?
It was about the parents forcing their kids to study.
Is that Sky? That Sky School?
Yeah, Sky Castle.
Ah, okay. I never saw that.
I don't remember what that was about. I just know it was about kids being pressured.
Yeah, it was. I didn't watch it, but I know it was about like parents who were trying to get their kids into like, you know, Sky universities in Korea. So like kind of like all the stuff they do to try to like ensure that their kid. But the one I'm referring to, Itaewon Class, it was like, yeah, it's really, really good until the end. Just kidding.
Like, is it like a good ending or is it like
it's fine?
Annoying?
It's annoying to me, but I'm just petty. So, but
this is the one with okay, I watched a preview for this.
Yeah, it's really good. It was based off a webtoon. But essentially there was like a plot where this kid who was like the son of like this guy who like, you know, owned like a really, really large company, was like a bully in school. And, you know, the teachers would like ignore it because obviously his dad was really, really powerful. So it was like stuff like that. But I don't know, I'm trying to think of a situation where like I feel like I was bullied or like something like that happened in class and like the teachers didn't interview. I remember there was this one guy, we were in my like, I think it was AP history, AP something. Well, should I not say? Oh, whatever. It was like in one of my like AP. It sounds like I'm trying to flex. One of my honors classes. But it was like in one of those classes, like U.S. history or something. And we were talking about like slaves in like Africa or something. And I can't remember what it was, but one of these kids, one of the students, it was a white guy, said something that was just all out of pocket about Africa. Like one of those like really like, oh yeah, because they use like, you know, sticks as toilet paper or whatever. And like obviously I'm from Nigeria, I've been to Nigeria, and I was just like, yeah, because you would know because you've been there, right? And it was just like I felt so annoyed. We were like in one of those like when like the classrooms arranged as a circle, whatever, and like I was kind of appalled that like the teacher didn't like say that was out of pocket to say, because it's like you're literally, oh, it was world history, you literally are like supposed to like be actually educated on things about the world, so why are you just letting him say this? And then so I said it, and then it world kind of went like silent, and I was like, well, obviously I'm the one who made it awkward, right? Not the guy saying racist stuff. But I was just like, that wasn't necessarily bullying me, but I feel like that was like an instance where like a teacher sees something just wild happening, they don't say anything. But honestly, for real, like sometimes I was like, I could never be a teacher because people used to straight up swing on my teachers. Like swing on them.
Why they didn't say anything? Like, swing on people. Maybe they're like, "Oh, he already beat me up last week." No,
he's gonna kick my butt.
Basically.
But Yeah. Oh, no. I wasn't gonna spoil it. I would never spoil it. Oh no. I mean, it ends wonderful. It's good. The thing is, I'm just a baby. It's great. It's great. I was sad that it ended.
I'm gonna
Let's say
die.
that. No. I don't. Who knows? You have to watch to find out. Next week on
Someone
Itaewon
dies.
Class. See you guys. um, U.S. schools are over police. I saw this thing on like how like being so connected on Twitter makes you realize how weird the US is actually. Like how there's that whole thing where it was like they're like, oh, somebody was like saying why Aldi's is like the best store, and one of the things was that they let their cash registers actually sit down, and then somebody retweeted and they're like, wait, cash registers aren't allowed to, or cashiers aren't allowed to, they let their cash registers sit down. They let their cashiers
I didn't even notice that.
they let their cashiers sit down, and then somebody retweeted and they're like, wait, y'all don't let your cashiers sit down. And so it like was this whole thing about how like in other places in other parts of the world they're like 100% fine with grocery store cashiers and stuff like that sitting down, but like in America, I remember because I worked at so many different, like I worked at a grocery store, I worked as retail at an amusement park, and I remember the one thing that like they were like you would get in trouble if they saw you sitting, because they're like, it looks lazy. If you can sit, that means you can like sort some shirts or something like that. And I remember my first day ever, like it was my first job ever, first day ever. I also worked in fast food. I just had a 4-hour shift, right? Because I was like young, so like you can't work that long or whatever. And after that 4 hours, I never just stood up for 4 hours ever. So my legs freaking hurt so bad, and I had a shift the next day, and I was like, this is inhumane. Like I'm literally 15. Imagine if you're like 53 or something. Imagine if you're even like 30 something doing this. And I was just like, it's so weird because retail stores are like, I don't know, at least the place I worked, aren't really that popping in like a lot of amusement parks. So like it would be empty, and like if it was empty, I was like, all right, let me sit real quick, like on maybe the display stand. And like if my boss saw me, he'd be like, hey, let's get up. And I'm just like, how about you, I'm about to fight you because what, my legs hurt. But yeah,
That's interesting.
but Honey Moonlight says, didn't Hyunjin's teacher come out and basically say he did nothing about all the bullying he witnessed and got backlash? Wait, the teacher was like, wait, I didn't do a thing. Bye. Like what? He probably wanted to get clout. He was like, I too know Hyunjin.
I think he defended him.
Oh, he
And then
defended
people
him?
were like, no, yeah, I think he was like, nothing was wrong with what he did. And then I think people were like, why are we trying to take a teacher's word?
Oh.
And then it's like, sir, there's a bullying problem. You didn't do jack.
Right?
What's going on?
He's just trying to cover for himself. He's like, it was fine. It was
My
fine.
class was always fine. I don't even know who Hyun Jin is. That his name? Yeah, him. Nothing ever went wrong in my class.
It was perfect. Y'all are the ones who are wrong. He starts swinging at like the press. And they're like, what? We didn't even want to interview you. You called
No,
us.
I'm the bully.
What? It's like, what is wrong with you? Andre says, I was bullied in middle school, and one of my teachers said that maybe I should be homeschooled. And I was just like, what? Honestly, one thing that I love about Gen Z, because I'm assuming you're like maybe around like me and Jazz's age, I agree that a lot of teachers were just like not great with that, because that is such a dumb thing. Like maybe you should change how you are, and then people wouldn't hate you. You ever thought about that? Like what?
Someone said it.
No, but I'm saying like I feel like that sometimes that happens. Like in this case, it's like, no, I shouldn't get in trouble because I'm being bullied. Maybe you should call out or discipline these students who you know are bullying me. Like maybe, I don't know, this is crazy. Maybe you should do your job, perhaps. Like, let's think about it.
Kind of like the 1960s or something. Like my dad used to say that he used to just get beat for just not getting an answer right. Like,
Oh God.
they'd be like, oh my god, like you can't do 1 + 1, smack, and it's like, all right, calm down.
Yeah.
Maybe they need extra help.
Yeah, you literally just ruined the brain cells that might have stored that information. So congrats, you played
Like, whenever
yourself.
my dad tells me the stories about him growing up and like going to school, he'd be like, yeah, like I was in the smart area and the like dumb people would just like not dumb, but like the slower kids would just like try and beat you up because you were smarter. So,
What?
I was like, your
What is
school is like the
happening?
freaking jungle.
That
I
is too raw.
cannot.
But God, thank God, I would not grow up at a time where kids were or teachers were allowed to beat their students, because I'm sure some of them abused that. Like just students they
Yeah.
didn't like, they were like, or like you'd be like, oh teacher, you wrote that 3 times 7 is 12, but it's actually 21, and they're like, shut up, and just beat you because they
Yeah.
felt embarrassed.
How dare you say you're smarter than me?
I'm sorry, 12, you're right, it's 12. Um,
Like, dang, I could not.
we have Aldi's here in Australia too, and no one
Yeah.
has a fuss about cashiers sitting down. It's, I feel like America just hates us. Like,
I mean, all these they sit down, like they
oh
do
yeah,
sit
yeah,
down,
yeah,
right?
okay. Is it just
Yeah,
Aldi's, or do other grocery store chains care if their cashiers sit down? Jadela. Um,
I
I don't.
think what's it called? Trader Joe's. They sit down.
Do they?
At least the one I think near me. I think they sit down. The amount of times I've gone to Trader Joe's is probably like this. So, like maybe this actually 2 times.
I was
So
gonna say
I
I
might just
love
be.
Trader Joseph's. I go there as frequently as possible when I can, but I don't think they sit
Swear
down.
they sit down.
Because I feel like at least the one that I remember going to, it's very small behind the cash registers. Like they're very close together. And so I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't even see where a seat could be.
that
Um,
was just part of it. I don't know. Maybe they do
oh,
stand.
and it was one of my favorite teachers too. That's always so sad when like a teacher lets you down like that. But yeah, I definitely think like back in the day, there was a lot of, maybe if you weren't so weird, people wouldn't bully you. Like that's like your guidance counselor talking to you. Like, what do you think? Like,
Yeah. Do better.
okay.
Um,
Yeah.
now get out of my office because you're wasting my lunchtime.
And not to say that before anyone comes for us, not to say all teachers and guidance counselors are bad or whatever, but I feel
Yeah,
like
definitely not.
there was a lot of insensitivity back in the day. Red Light says, I don't think any customer in the U.S. care anymore. It's just corporate not wanting to pay for Cheers or some other retail culture. Yeah, I agree. It's probably something like that, because I remember always being told that it looks unprofessional. And I'm like, okay, wait, let's do this math. If I'm in a store that nobody's in, who is it looking unprofessional to? Nobody can see me, quite
And
frankly. Like,
your boss. That's it.
like, and I'm like, because I've been a customer too, so it's like, from a perspective, if I saw somebody sitting down, like, girl, me too. Like, give me a seat too while I put my groceries on the name.
Especially at an amusement park. I'm like,
Exactly.
I've been walking. It's like, I want to sit down too. You might want to get up. I'm a customer. I'm
Exactly.
always right.
We need to take turns. We need to do this on a rotational thing, because it's just like, what? I literally don't care. So why would anyone else care? Like, especially because
Yeah.
like the way you can situate a lot of counters, they wouldn't even see. They couldn't even tell the difference probably. So it's like, who made up that weird lie just so you can
Yeah.
break your employees' legs? Not to mention, if you have any type of disability where it's like legitimately hard to stand, all of a sudden you can't do that job for like the dumbest reason, or like they may try to like not hire you and say like, oh, you wouldn't be able to do it. And it's just like, just give them a chair. Like,
Yeah. For some
um,
reason, this reminds me of like that book, Jungle, The Jungle. There you go.
oh, what's that
I
about?
feel like it was like the 1920s or something, and it was like I think they were Irish immigrants, or I think they're Irish, and it was just like about them like navigating through America and
Hmm.
trying to like make money, and like how hard it was to work at like um in factories. And when I think like the wife was like pregnant at one point, and she had to work standing up
Um,
like for hours or something. It was like a
Dang.
whole thing. It was just like just the hardships of just being an immigrant in America in that time period.
Mm,
Especially, I think Irish people were like discriminated against at that
hmm.
time. So it was like also that was included in the conflict. It was just like really depressing
Oh, I hate that stuff
book.
like that. I mean, it's
I was
true.
like,
It's
why am I
good.
reading this? I was like, why are you making me read this for the summer? I'm supposed to be having fun.
Yeah, that's so sad. I hate that literally. It's like anyone, I don't know, anyone who's like literally any type of minority before, if it's a story that's set like later or earlier than like the 1950s are probably miserable. Like they probably are just having racist stuff thrown at them all the time. Like it's just not a happy story. And Andre says, same with principals. We got suspended because we fought. Come back for the meeting that the other dude wouldn't even show up for, and I was still in trouble. Yeah, that's so annoying. I think a lot of times, like, the idea that, like, y'all fought, two people fought, suspend them both. It's like, maybe mediate and see why they fought. Maybe they were friends who got into a spat. Maybe it was, like, a bullying situation. Somebody finally standing up to their bully. Like, I feel like just more mediation. As far as I know, only Aldi does that, but I don't know a lot of the supermarket chains in America, so I cannot confirm that it's the only one. Ah, okay.
I'll look this up now.
Me too. Red Light says, yeah, I know of no stores in my area of the U.S. other than Aldi's. Are there any grocery stores that not necessarily are American chains, but in general, where, like, if you go into, like, your local grocery store, there might, like, the cashier, I'm, like, in love with cash registers, apparently. The cashier has, like, maybe a seat where they can sit, like, you know, when they're having idle time or something like that. No, seriously, these were acting crazy at 8 a.m. in the morning for. Yeah, honestly, I mean, I don't want to expose my school, but honestly, it was really weird because it's kind of like, you know, God had a plan for me because I would always miss when fights happened. Like, I would be absent. Like, it would be like.
And I'd be kind of sad because I'd be like,
Oh my God.
The one day I'm absent is when you guys make it onto the news because you guys punching each other. Like, dang. The one day, I'm still pissed about that. I was like, man, I don't want to miss school because I swear there's going to be a fight. I went to like a very
That was
bad
what was
school.
keeping you going. You're like, someone might
Like,
swing
it
on
was
something
so
else.
bad.
And God damn it, I want to be there.
It was like 7th grade. My mom put me in this school where, like, for some reason, it was a new school and, like, they just put all the bad kids there. And then, like, there was some good people like me that were put in there too because they told the parents, like, oh, this is gonna be revolutionary, like your kids are gonna learn so much. But all the bad kids were there too, and I was just like, I'm waiting for the day that there's gonna be a fight. Like, so I'm going to school every day. One time a kid actually I did not miss this kid. He punched a hole in the wall while we're all crowded in this hallway. We're all trying to get to class, and he somehow finds a way to punch the freaking wall, like a hole into it. I was like, sir, we share this with a Jewish school. Like, this is their place. Why are you punching holes in the wall?
Oh my God.
And then the day that I'm absent, there's literally my mom. I come back from work. I don't even know what I was doing. I think I was sleeping probably because I think I was sick. And my mom was like, "Your school was on the news today because somebody freaking fought during lunch."
Oh my God.
I was like, "Dang, y'all crazy!"
On the news?
I knew it was gonna happen.
That's
I knew it was
crazy.
gonna happen one day.
That's
Maybe
crazy.
some kid fought a janitor. I don't even know.
All right, I'm done. The janitor was probably just, oh my God. Like, what?
I don't know how I ended up here at school.
How do you have beef with the janitor? Honestly, well, let me not. Maybe the janitor was throwing shots, throwing subtweets.
Hey,
Like,
but the guy who's in the fight,
those shoes again? All right.
Seemed like it. He seemed like he would fight.
Okay. That's why it's kind of like, yeah, it's too much. But I don't know. I was always afraid that, like, if a fight broke out, I would just be like collateral damage. Like, somebody like, you too, and I'm like, me, and they're like, come here. I'm like,
Oh, that just reminded me.
like, what?
I like one time I was walking in the hallways in my high school with my friend, and like I think we went to the bathroom or something, so we're walking, and these two girls start fighting, and my friend stops and just is staring at them, and I was like, "Are you gonna join them? Because we gotta go. I'm not about to join. I'm not getting dragged into this fight."
But not them
She's
watching
just
it. Like,
staring at them like, "Oh, okay, yeah, pull her hair, get that."
not the
Go get it.
instigating.
Wait, hold on. Let me hold your hair back. Let me.
See, that's how you get swung
What are you
on.
planning to do here? You're staring at them.
That's how you accidentally get swung on. Oh, Andre says, yeah, Aldi's is the only one that I know that their cash registers sit down. Okay, so perhaps Aldi's is just really revolutionary. All right, come through Aldi's. Andre says, "See, that was me in
That's my
high
favorite
school.
story.
All the fights would happen in the lunchroom, and I'm a whole different building. Hearing about it afterwards, yeah, it's crazy. It's always like crazy how like that was like the talk of the town for like the next week, and everyone who's there are treated like eyewitnesses. Like, yes, she
Yeah.
did grab her wig, and yes, she did punch her in the eye. It was crazy. I was front row just eating
World star.
breakfast for lunch was being served in the cafeteria, so it was a happy day. And then all of a sudden I hear, "Girl, how about I give you a knuckle sandwich?" And it was on and popping. Thank you. Like, what?
No one tried to stop that. No one was there to like mediate.
The teachers
We're all
did
just
run
staring.
in the opposite direction, if you were asking.
They
So
feared.
yes.
What was happening?
Although I don't know if it was like bullying's one thing, but like physical fights, I don't know if it like was not up to the teachers to like I think I don't know if that was like not in their pay grade, because I know like when I worked in retail, one of the
I'd be
things,
scared.
yeah, honestly, I'm like, I did not sign up for this, unfortunately. So, but like, and I also was one of those schools, but I think by the end of my high school we did have police officers walking around my school, so I'm pretty sure it was like their job, which
Yeah, it's
that's
usually
crazy.
security guards.
Oh
At least
yeah,
at my
security
school
guards.
it was like the security guards would be like, but they were also at my school they were friends with the bad kids, so it's kind of like it's not gonna work out.
You're like, wait a second. The math is the math. Leanne says, whenever there was a fight in my high school, I kept it moving because my teachers were like, it doesn't matter if there's a fight. If you're late, you're late. That sounds like such a busybody teacher. I don't care if, Stephanie punched Brittany right in front of you. You should have jumped over them and got to class, all right? Demerit. Some teachers really just like those teachers who are just like the bell doesn't dismiss you, I do. It's like,
Oh my gosh, I hate that.
I have 5 minutes to
The
get
bell
down
does
this flight of
dismiss
stairs.
me. Are you gonna talk to my teacher after this? The other one that I gotta go
Exactly.
to?
You know what's so crazy that I just think is so weird? Like, I get it, like Law and Order, but like I think the weirdest thing for me was making the transition from high school to college, because of the idea that you didn't have to ask to go to the bathroom. Like, that was something I really had to unlearn. Yeah, because I was just like, do I raise my? Can I just peace out? Like, you won't. They won't care? I don't know about that.
A freaking lecture hall.
There's like 5,000
And it's
people.
like, oh, you have a good question about physics? And you're like, no, can I go to the bathroom? Is there a hall pass that I need to get?
Please go to the bathroom. Like, yeah, but it was just really awkward. But then it made me, like, in retrospect, it was like the fact that you had to ask to go to the bathroom. I mean, I know some kids would literally like peace out and never come back, but it's just like, that's so
Yeah.
degrading. Like, excuse me, may I pee pee? May I please pee pee? Like, that's what like it felt like. Like, it's like very. I mean, when I would usually go to the bathroom, it would just be like fix my makeup or just like lie on the ground or something. Like, not lie on the ground, but contemplate life. Or I just did not want to be there. Or I was like falling asleep, so I had to like splash my face with water. But it's just like really weird that everyone has to be like, I would like to use the toilet. Please give me a stick so I can walk in the hallway without getting a demerit. It's so weird.
Oh gosh, demerits.
Demerit. Red Light says, same Jazz. Everyone wonders how fights happen in high school, and the students just and swarm with the Snapchat out. It's some hormonal insanity. Yeah.
Oh, you World Star. They're like, all right, this is gonna be on World Star Hip Hop today.
Oh
We're about to
God.
be fake. Oh, that just reminded me. Literally, I saw some fight like a couple years after I graduated from high school, and I looked at it and I was like, is that my hallway from high school? And I find out it was a fight in my high school. I think it was on World Star or something, and I was like, how have I made it here? How has it made it to this point?
Honestly, I would be so mad if I got in a fight and somebody put in a World Star Hip Hop. Like, I just do not want that be my legacy. My internet royalty.
I mean, why are you getting a fight?
That's true. But it's like, no paparazzi, please. All right. I'm trying to do
So
this.
you put a mask on, and then you start fighting. You're like, hold on. It's like, you're gonna put your hair up? No, I'm gonna put my mask on, and then I'm gonna beat your butt.
Min Yoongi says, oh, Min Yoongi's in the chat. Hi. As a teacher, we are told not to break up fights because if somebody gets a bruise from you breaking up, they're gonna come for you. Oh my God.
I've heard of that.
That
I
makes
think
sense.
I've heard of that.
That that makes sense. Well, thank you for the insight. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I know, like, in retail, not that we're not told to break up fights, but, like, in retail, somebody steals something, at least where I worked at, you're told not to chase after them and just, like, call security. Because, again, if they have, like, a knife on you, you're not, or, like, they're, like...
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, so that actually makes a lot of sense. And I don't think that, like, that's above the pay grade. Like, I'm not trying to get swung at. Red Light says, everyone would get in trouble that one day a year when kids would fight because the crowd would keep everyone from class. Leanne says, my history teacher, I think it's just like if you can't get in, the teacher's like, you're late, I don't care, you're late. Just random demerits for everyone. They're like, oh, yes. Leanne says, my history teacher in senior year also said once that teachers have to be careful about intervening because they don't want to... Yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense, honestly, not thinking about it, because it's just like anyone could, like, be like, well, you know, my ribs, I might have swung on that person, but if that teacher did not get in the way, my knuckles would be fine right now, so... Leanne says, the bell doesn't dismiss you, I do. Tell that to my bus that leaves in 2 seconds. Oh, gosh, when I would miss the bus, I would get so sad. Especially, like, going to school.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Hey, Andy, what's up? Thanks for coming through. Everyone say hi, Andy. Jadella says, can I tell you a weird story? My high school has one student toilet area and it's locked during classes. So whenever somebody needs to tinkle, they need to ask a deputy principal for a key to unlock it. I'm sorry, what?
Like staff bathroom, which is so awkward. Staff bathroom? What the heck?
I'm sorry, they got the toilets on lockdown. I don't understand. What? Oh my god. Like, the thing is, not only is it so degrading just to be like, can I go, like, use the bathroom? But it's also just like, you gotta go all this rigmarole. You know what? Fine, I'll just wear a diaper, because at this point, y'all are making it too. Y'all are doing too much. That is so
Maybe
awkward.
they were scarred. Maybe there was, like, this one year where somebody, like, people were just ruining it for the future generation because they were just, like, going left and right. Not coming back. Not actually going to the bathroom.
Yeah. Ooh, Prim says, wow, that sounds like a human rights violation. Sure does. What the heck?
Yeah. I mean, they're not stopping you from actually going to the bathroom. It's just harder.
You show them who's boss by just going in your seat. Yeah, but that's, like, horrible. Holy crap. Andre says, I work at a sports arena and they tell us not to get involved in fights because we'd get in trouble and sued. I guess that is just, like, the consensus. Like, if somebody, unless you're trained for that, unless you're, like, a security guard, which makes 100% sense, because it's like, I signed up to be a teacher, not a MMA referee. Unfortunately, that is just not in my jurisdiction. Red Light says, oh, that was my middle school. When you got 100+ people in the bathroom, you need more than half a bathroom. Yeah, that's too much. Especially it's like, oh, like it's like, then it's like, that's too much. Oh my god. And there are at least 10 staff toilets. So the teachers are living in toilet luxury, and y'all gotta fight. In one student toilet. The lap of bidet. They probably got bidets in there.
Just I mean, I would want to use the staff
yeah,
bathroom.
That's true. Me too.
I'm like, okay,
sure. Toilet, please. But yeah, it seems like we all had just insane. So yeah, in terms of Soojin, going back like 30 minutes.
I was like just thinking. I was like, what were we talking about?
In terms of Soojin, it seems like she's getting a lot, like, definitely there's people who are just like, you know, yeet her from the industry, but then she's also, I see she's getting a lot of support. So I feel like her fate is not as set in stone, and I think her company, it really helps that her company seems to be like, you know, listen. And it also helps because I think with Jisoo, there's not much his company can do if they know that he did most of the stuff that he's being accused of, versus Soojin, where they're sticking to, you know, the story that, or they're sticking with her recollection of events, that she never physically, you know, hurt anyone. So I think, you know, for her, I feel like she has a good chance of this maybe going away, because it seems like she's standing her ground in a very James Charles-esque fashion. So yeah, all right, so moving on. I don't know if you know about this, but I wanted my drama constituents to maybe weigh in. I know a lot of you guys love K-dramas, and I know a lot of you guys love like the older ones. So y'all remember the drama Goong, which also
Is
is,
that how you say it?
yes.
Because I used to read the manhwa or whatever, and I always called it gong. And I never actually revisited to actually be like, oh, let me look. Now that I know how to read Korean, like Hangul, I can actually see how I'm supposed to say it. But I always have just been like gong,
Well, in
how
the
it is and how it will forever be.
yeah, I think it's Goong. Here in the notes, I put the
Oh yeah,
Korean
it's
version.
good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I always get the O and the U, the U, like, because one goes up and one
yeah.
goes down. But yeah, so Goong, also known as Princess Hours. Oh, so you do know like the plot. That's good. You could probably explain it better than me too, because I did not read it or know the plot. You're like, explain on
I
that.
honestly, I tried to read it and then like I think I would skim because I was like, this is such a long scene. Sometimes I didn't know what was happening, so I just like. Also, the drawings were so interesting. They always look like their lips were like always pouting.
I want to
I
see
don't know.
it. Because I did not know it was based off of manhwa.
Oh,
I
really?
Yeah, I did not. The thing is, I'm so because it came out in 2006, and I've only been on like the webtoons manhwa thing since like maybe 2017. And I feel like I'm so like close-minded. I was like, oh, that's when they started. Like that's when people started making comics in 2017 when I found out. So I had no idea that
Oh,
there was like such a rich comic culture prior to that, or there was
yeah.
like multiple
I just
things.
like would read anything that was like a manga or whatever. So this was, I was like, oh, this is basically just a manga, but it's Korean. So it was just like I would read it anyway.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know how I missed like the manhwa, the early like, Korean comics. Oh,
Yeah,
Andy's
they
gotta
have
leave.
like such an interesting style.
Oh,
You can
and
always
drama.
tell when it's a manhwa versus a manga.
That's
And
so
you can
true.
always tell like a Chinese manga too. Like they all like all three countries to me just have like a distinct art style that you can tell that it's like different, but it's like cool.
I've never seen Chinese comics before. I'm gonna look into that. But yeah, definitely with manhwas versus like manga. Yeah, I feel like you can always tell. Um, let's see. Oh, also Andy's leaving, so everyone say bye meeting. Um,
Bye.
Andy said stream Rose solo when it's out and stand NCT. You know what? I
Yes,
appreciate the
NCT.
consistent plug. Um, didn't Soojin just land a solo beauty ambassador job? I thought she was getting cut for most of her stuff, or maybe that was me. Oh no, that was none from.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
Yeah.
other girl was definitely getting cut. I remember that.
Mm.
April, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, April. Yeah. Um. But bye, Andy. Thank you for stopping by the stream. Um. Let's see. Are Korean webtoons slash comics translated? Yeah, I feel like especially nowadays with the popularity of the webtoon app, a lot of them get like translated into multiple languages. Um, I usually I haven't commented in a while though. I used to be really on like reading all the new webtoon stuff. Um, but
Problematic
also
webtoons.
not all the stuff that is uploaded on webtoons is Korean. I just realized. Anyone I think anyone can upload their comments onto there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yes, this iconic Korean drama Goon, let me bring it up, is getting a remake. So just for a synopsis or a backstory, Goon, also known as Princess Hours, is a 2006 South Korean drama television series. It starred Yoo Eun-hae, Chu Ji-hoon, Kim Jong-hoon, and Song Ji-ho, and it's based off the manhwa Goon by Park So-hee. And so it was really, 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 really popular across all of Asia at the time of its airing, and it was one of those iconic dramas that contributed to like the Hallyu wave, and it was so successful that it actually had a spin-off series called Gung S, that was actually broadcast the next year. And just for like a synopsis, let me bring up a little like picture of it. But just for a synopsis, it takes place in current day. Oops. Okay. Yeah. It takes place in current day, like 21st century Korea. But the catch is that it's an alternate reality where the monarchy and imperial family have retained, or the imperial family has retained its monarchy since 1945. So they have like princesses and things like that. And the series focuses on Crown Prince Shin of Korea and his new bride, Chae Kyung. So I guess, do y'all know, have y'all watched this? Because I just wanted to like reminisce. I thought it was just cute because I know it was one of those older shows, and I feel like it's one of those things where like, oh my god, like a show that I watched when I first got into dramas or K-pop is now getting a remake. I'm so old. Like I just thought it was one of those moments. But there was one thing I wanted to show. Listen to the song here in my heart. uh let's see. Okay. I wanted to show this picture because I'm sorry, but makeup has changed so much. And this is like no shade or anything, but I was so surprised that the girl in the pink here is Song Ji-ho. I'm putting girl in the pink here is Song Ji-ho from Running Man. Like y'all.
On what is this?
Oh, sorry.
It's not on the screen yet. Like is she in Goon?
Yeah, she's in Groom before
like
she's the one that's not doesn't have the crown. So the one that's hair's not in pigtails and like the promotional photos. Yeah.
Gosh. I remember I did not want to watch this because like after looking at the manhwa and like reading some of it, I was like, all right, these people are good looking. But then I saw this and I was like, I don't think any of these people are good looking. So I just like never watched the show.
I love Ju Ji-hoon. He's so cute to me. I don't know who this is. The one that plays the actual prince. The one. It's hard because I'm like the one that's dressed like this. But it's like they're all dressed the same. The one with the black hair in the picture. I thought he was so cute.
He kind of looks good.
Thank you.
I don't know what it is though. I was just like, nah, not what I was expecting. So I'll pass on that and move on.
Oh, Prim says this was Song Ji-ho's breakout role, I think. Oh my god. Wow. I just feel like the makeup makes her look so different because like I guess like back in the day tanner skin didn't matter as much because like they look very tan and like Song Ji-ho nowadays is like very pale looking to me. But wait, excuse me, what? That song? Oh yes, oh my god, yes, right? It looks so different. And it's just crazy how like styles change so much because I feel like being more tanner wasn't as not a beauty standard or whatever. I don't know, but like I don't know because like I feel like when I watch old dramas people look really tan and I'm just like it seems, and these are people that were considered pretty beautiful, so I'm just like it's crazy how standards came. But I definitely think like the makeup is a lot heavier here. Like it's like you can visibly see like colored eyeshadow and like colored like lipstick and stuff. I don't know, I was just really surprised.
The hair that makes me think that they just don't look good. I'm looking at it.
Yeah, but this was the hairstyle back in the day. This is what TVXQ's hair looked like.
And they look greasy too.
What? Greasy? What?
You really
okay, but Triangle was crazy. I'm talking about like Hug Red Balloon. Yes, Hug and like Red Balloon. This was the style. I admit it looks outdated now, but also it's 2021. Like let me think of something that I like. Well, I always like Rain, but I think he looks cute like when he had this hair. I'll admit I will always think guys look better with short hairstyles, but I feel like they look cute here. Well, I don't know who this actor is. I'll be honest, but
I think he looks greasy.
How does it look greasy?
The brown haired one. He really like his hair really looks greasy. Like, it just looks
well, we're looking at two different pictures to be fair, but I feel like his hair looks actually very fluffy. But
oh no, I'm looking at the picture that unless you changed it.
Oh no, it's the same picture.
Yeah, I'm looking at that picture and he looks greasy.
I'll say my one criticism that nobody asked about K-dramas is that like sometimes their lips be so chapped for no reason, and I'm very confused.
Okay.
Like I'm just like, really? What? Yeah, like haven't you ever seen like a K-drama where it's like a close-up and it's just like, why are their lips chapped?
I feel like you said this to me before and I was like, I don't think I noticed this.
Oh, Prim says, ouch, Jazz. You're coming for their faves. Prim says there's more post-production coloration technology now. That's true. And I think just like the styles too in general of what's considered like handsome or attractive is like very different now. But I agree with the coloration. Like watching what a drama looked. Well, also just like the resolution too, because if you watch a drama from 2006, it's probably gonna be 4:3 aspect ratio. You know, it's gonna look.
Even things from like 2012 look terrible. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't even want to know what it looks like in 2006. It's probably just like a blur.
Yeah, that's so true. Um, Rain in the drama Full House, also one of my favorites. Yes, and he looks so cute in it too.
Full
Um,
House.
no, but I
That was a
love when
manhwa
guys
too.
have these hits. Huh?
Full House was a manhwa too. I remember that.
Wow, really? I'm just so out of the loop. Oh my god. IDK, I know some of the OGs got a little flack for the tan skin in Japan. I imagine it's somewhere in South South, yeah, somewhat in the same as South Korea. Yeah, that might be true. I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like it was a lot more prevalent now. Like even actresses, I think the best way, and not to single anyone out. I don't know if this is singling people out, but I think the best like thing is like looking at an actress who maybe is like in their like mid to late 30s now and like has been acting since early, seeing how they look now and how they look then, like in the G show thing. It's not that she looks super old or anything. It's literally just like the style is completely like
Yeah.
crazy, like or not crazy, so different. It's just like wow. Like for example, I was watching you know how like Eugene from SES, she's like supposed to be like the original visual. She actually looked quite tan in a lot of like the promotional pictures. And like Prim was saying, it might be like, you know, how they colorize things now, but I'm like she was considered like a pretty like a really high tier visual, and she wasn't like super white skin pale. So I thought that was quite interesting. There's also more skin lightening. Oh no, a good example is SNSD. Like early 2007 SNSD like stuff, they look very tan. Like from
Oh yeah,
Yuna to
yeah.
yeah, and then like you know years later now it's like super pale.
Yeah.
Um, I never heard of this drama. The only K drama I've seen is the medical drama called The Doctors. The Doctors.
I remember that kind of.
I thought you were gonna say Hospital Playlist. I wanna watch that, but The Doctors. I've never heard of that. What's that
Hospital
about?
playlist.
Yeah, the one that like recently last year came out, and it was about like four doctors who like been together ever since like medical school. I haven't watched it yet, but it's on my to watch. Oh
I've
yeah,
never
the
heard of it.
whiplash to for styles is intense. Yeah. And it's just like it makes them look so like it's like a whole different person. Like I just was so flabbergasted because she looks like a whole different person with this makeup style. You know, and obviously that's kind of what makeup is about, like transforming people. But like I was just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I was just interested if they do make a remake. Some questions like, who would you want to see in these roles? Do you think it's too early to make a remake? Because I saw a lot of people saying that.
Is it? It's been like 15 years.
Yeah, 15. Yeah, it was 2006.
I
Um,
mean,
Doctors with Park Shin Hye. I don't know. I never heard
I
of
think I've heard of the
it.
doctors.
Oh, okay. Andre says yeah, it's that one.
Ow.
이만큼, 이만큼, 이만큼,
Yeah, I was
이만큼.
gonna say it's pretty old. Yeah, it's like 5 years old.
Doctors? Ah, okay.
Yeah, Park Shin Hye.
I remember she was everywhere. And I said she's not now, but like,
What has she been in recently?
I'm not sure actually. I'm sure something, but I just remember she was like back to back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah, I used to get her confused with somebody. I think her name what was her name Min Young?
이만큼, 이만큼.
Park Min Young? Yeah, I used to get her confused with Park Shin Hye
Is Park Min
because they
Young from
kind of
Davichi?
something about them look a little bit the same. Hmm?
Is she another actress? Oh, I know who you're talking about. Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She was in what's wrong with Secretary Kim, which I never finished.
Oh, I never. Oh, I only know her from another show that wasn't really popular.
Mm. Oh, Distinct says I found pictures of Yuno and Junsu leaving a tanning salon from around the Muradic era, so I definitely think it was less of a big deal back then. I also think it's probably like a concept thing too, because I know like Ihuri, she was super tan. And I think she's naturally darker, but she was super tan during like the You Go Girl era versus maybe like the Bad Girl era. Um, that was a good one, but I did have some comments with the age gap about the mains. Park Shin Hye is in, what is it, Sisyphus? The Myth, and it's good. She's been doing movies recently. Ah, okay. I feel like movies are just like the big time, you know.
I just don't watch them unless they're the
Movies.
detective. Yeah, well, at least Korean movies, I usually don't watch unless they're like the detective uh, twist ending ones because
Mm,
I like twist ending.
like Old Boy.
I still have not seen that, and I
Uh,
think it's because my sister told me what happened, and I was like, "All right, I don't
yeah.
need to watch it now." So I
That was kind
just haven't
of
watched
that was kind of like okay.
it.
So yeah, so I guess everyone look out for that remake and we can move in. All right, so we also for this next topic, we also talked a little bit about it during my Wednesday stream. But so you hear about Brave Girls and how they're pulling like an EXID with their song Rolling?
I've heard like random things. Like I saw like on Reddit like posts about rolling, but I was
Hmm.
like, isn't that an old song? But I never actually clicked
Yeah.
into it. But when I did, I was like, maybe it's not. So I just like called it a day. I was
You're like investigation closed.
just like switched to TikTok and called it. I was like, that's too much thinking.
That's enough detective work for today. Well, essentially, Brave Girls is having one of those like coveted, like feel good stories, as their 2017 song Rolling has become somewhat of a phenomenon currently. So essentially, Brave Girls, their 2017 track Rolling, recently gained a lot of popularity due to a video compilation that a fan edited and posted late last month. I think it was posted on the 23rd. Basically, the video was like a compilation on their performances, but like in addition to that, it had comments comments that people have commented on them attached, and I think that's like kind of like a popular style of video like among Korean entertainment, like videos where like you put like comments that people have commented about it. Rain does that a lot in his YouTube variety show where he'll put like like comments and things like that. So it was like funny and people enjoyed it, and like also it showed them performing at military bases and how crazy the soldiers would go for them. But like in the midst of this video going by, people are like, oh wait, this is actually a like killer song. So since then, the song has made it to number one on multiple Korean music charts, and actually got them their first very number one. I checked Melon when I was writing this up earlier today, and they were number three on Melon, which was great, like impressive.
That's good.
Yeah. So it was actually funny because amidst like the song's growing popularity, Brave Entertainment, their entertainment label, actually changed the cover art on the song. So this is one of the things that I've heard. A lot of people have been listening to the song, hearing it go viral, and maybe they knew it back in the day, and they're like, why didn't this song go popular at the time? Because everyone agrees it's a good song. And so a lot of people blame the mismatch of the feel of the song to the concept. So they had like a pretty sexy concept for this song, and I'm about to show you can see it in the thing, but I'm about to show the difference. So we talked about the fact that they changed the cover art. So essentially, they changed the cover art of the album, which I think is good because when people see it, maybe like on the charts, it'll get more exposure. But I did want to show. So originally, this was the cover art. Um, And as you can see, it's like super like we're all with their back turned. They have like I don't know what would this be, like swimsuits or whatever. So it was really super sexy. But then they changed it to this. Yeah, to this, which is a lot more like summery, bright, like more impassioned stuff like that. And this was at the request of like the fans. I thought it was interesting because a lot of people said that the reason why it maybe didn't get the popularity is because there was like a push to sell like sex and to make it sexy. And like while there's nothing wrong with that, as long as everyone's consenting and of age, they're like, it didn't make sense. Like it's like, you know, imagine singing like Red Flavor in like, I don't even know, in a bikini. I don't know, well, maybe not in a bikini, but like, you know,
And then like
in a
that
pole,
outfit.
like pole dancing to or Red Flavor. Like it doesn't make any sense. But people just felt like
wait, I'm confused. What's he, like, where are we going?
people felt that it didn't click or whatever. So that was really cool that they like are taking this feedback and responding to it. And so one of the things we posed in the live stream I did on Wednesday, what I asked chat was like, okay, so they have this song, the sleeper hit, they're going viral, they're getting attention. What moves should Brave Entertainment be making right now to ensure that this is like an EXID type of rival song and meteoric rise and not just like a one-off fluke, and they actually can, you know, gain popularity from this. So I'm gonna pose that question to you, Jasmine. But as you like think about that, I'm just gonna go go through some of the answers. A lot of people were like, go on music shows. Other people were like, they need to get them on variety shows. We kind of like, you know, debated whether they need to go back and perform this song or drop a new single. A lot of people were saying they need to just milk the heck out of this popularity of this song. So like, do you have anything that you think like they could be doing right now to make sure that this is not just like a one-time popularity thing?
I think they should milk the song for what they can for the moment, and then also come up with a song that has a similar feel. Like I feel like EXID, like they milk that sound.
Yeah, they kind of did. I love my girls, but let's be honest.
It was such all their songs had like a very similar structure. And I feel like it's something that Blackpink does a lot too, where it's like once you find a structure and people like it, it's probably like you can probably milk it for a couple more comebacks. So I think if they go that route, it'll work. Especially, I don't think it's like a really preppy song where like I feel like that other group Momoland. I think songs like that wouldn't work with that as well, because I think it can get maybe a little bit annoying. But like with something that's more like, I don't know, like mature sounding, it's okay to like try and milk that formula more.
Yeah, and I think it's nice because it's like not necessarily like it seems like people are really enjoying the song for what it is. Obviously the dance at the time like probably made waves and probably contributed to being a popular among military guys or whatever, but like people seem to just like be responding particularly to the song, which is like very good for them, because then they can just pitch the music. And I think Brave Brothers has always been known for really good songs, so like that was they never had a shortage of good songs. I know a lot of people during the last stream were criticizing, saying that their Brave Brothers, Brave Entertainment isn't good at promoting their groups, and that's like the big problem. So since they kind of are getting the publicity, maybe that's just all they needed to kind of push. Essentially, what I wanted to announce is that on March 5th, Brave Entertainment officially announced that in response to fans' requests, they're currently in the process of preparing Brave girls to go back and promote the song. So they're going to be promoting it on music shows, very similar to how EXID, after Up and Down got popular again, started promoting on music shows. Although this is actually very interesting because with EXID, it was like maybe like, you know, a couple months off, like from when they originally promoted it to when it got popular. But this is literally 4 months from when they originally dropped the song. So this is gonna be really interesting. But I hope they just keep listening to fan feedback and don't try to like, you know, reinvent the wheel or do too much or not do enough.
I feel like they should probably like read into how EXID did.
Exactly. Study the text. All right.
It's already been done, so it's like not like they have nothing to like work off of.
That's true.
Did they lose a member? Because
yes, yeah. They
because that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like if they left on their own and they're like, this is not working, we suck, blah blah blah, bye, and then they hit it big. That kind of,
I feel like they would have to get over it by now.
I mean, like they just got popular though,
That's true.
so like They're probably like open wounds.
Ooh, this is good. Prim says licensing. Get that star on every TV show and commercial, and then get a really good single to ride that momentum. Yeah, I feel like that's the difference between like being able to like produce more is the difference between being like a one hit wonder versus, you know, because like, okay, again, I feel like we're mature enough in this chat to know when I point out certain things, it's not me just in the group. Like, for example, Crayon Pop, Bar Bar Bar. That was huge in 2013, but afterwards they really couldn't recreate that success. So it's like there's a difference between ending up like a Bar 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 by Crayon Pop versus the EXID, and I feel like this moment is very volatile. It's very important that they're doing the right things, pushing it, making sure that it's not too gimmicky. So something that somebody mentioned last time is make sure you're getting them not only on music stuff but variety shows so people know them personally, because I think getting that personality is a good way to make it so that people get to know them, and because of that they're, you know, fans of them and not just this one song.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Andre says, I remember I said back on that stream that Brave Entertainment isn't really great at promoting Brave Girls as it is. So I'm shocked that they're going back and promoting these shows. I think it's literally just them being like, okay, let's listen to what people are saying.
Yeah.
Like,
they're like, hey, maybe we did drop the ball.
Perhaps. And like Jazz said, like I feel like EXID laid the like laid the textbook, like, or made the textbook on how to like respond to your song, what to do when your song gains resurgence in popularity by EXID. Wait, Samuel was part of Brave Entertainment. Samuel,
yeah,
from...
Sam.
Oh my god,
yeah.
I did not know.
He was in that group with that other guy, the one.
Whoa, lore. Like literally,
Yeah,
it took
like,
me back.
in a group together. I forgot what they were called.
Oh wait, Prim saying Samuel was blowing up on TikTok early on. I think he hinted at people really just be living. You know how I told you like Shannon? She's like an streamer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
The fact that she was, when I found out she would voice the person on Valorant, I was like, that is cool. Like, hold on. But like, sing. That's all I hear you sing. I've seen you in years.
Oh my girl fan said like Brave Entertainment doing amazing songs, but they own artists. They did not do good. Yeah, they did them dirty. Yeah, I feel like it's just like a testament that there's so many working parts into how to have a successful group. Like some people are saying, oh, this promotion's good and the members are working hard, but they can't get a good song. And in this case, it's like good music, but I didn't know. Wait, I didn't know she was a streamer. I didn't know that Samuel was on TikTok. Cause neither. I'm a boomer, as they call them. But yeah, I just think this is so.
One Punch, right? No, Punch One. Wait.
No, I knew about One Punch because it's like one. That's how we got. Yeah, I knew about that. I just forgot. Like I literally forgot. Cause I remember. Yeah, I remember, and they used to have dreads and stuff, right? Okay.
No, I don't really know what that means.
But yeah, now I remember that, and I thought it was sad that one just like yeeted out, and then I was like, oh, when Samuel was on Produce, I was like, oh, it's like another little boy, and now, yeah, I guess my brain is just like, girl, you gotta make way for new information.
Ever actually come out with a song?
No, he had to have. There's no way YG did him that dirty. There is no way.
I feel like I remember there was like a teaser that he was like under them, and then
I will scream when he entered. So it says that he had one studio album called Private 01 in 2009. He had one single album called One Day, which was in 2016, which was 2 songs. 2017, he had 2 singles in 2016, 2 singles in 2017.
You remember this? I remember this coming out. I think that's when I was like looking at. I was like, oh, he's got teasers. He's coming out, and then he disappeared.
Truly. Oh my gosh. He maybe had a total of 5 singles under them. What is going on?
Is he out of that company? He was so good looking. Like,
It says that he's
I don't know
currently
what he's on.
still under YG. Or wait. Yeah. Associated acts. Wait, let me see. YG family. Soloists. Oh, it doesn't have him under soloists. Groups.
Dang, they
Producers.
really dropped him.
Maybe he left.
As he should. He shouldn't have left. Well, I don't know what Brave Entertainment would have done for him, but
They would have given him songs to sing. Oh,
yeah.
wait. In 2009, he left YG Entertainment and since moved under his own record label,
In
Private
2019?
Only. Yeah, so this is 2 years ago. He is, okay, well,
Oh,
wait,
the fact that was 2 years ago.
yeah.
I'm thinking, I thought you were going to say a year ago. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. It's 2021. I'm sorry.
What is the world? What is time? Literally, he released a smooth 5 singles under them. YG Entertainment needs to be jailed. The whole company, actually. Because how is this possible? Because didn't they buy out his contract so from when he was in One Punch so he could be under YG Entertainment?
And then they said, nah, wait, you didn't do that well. So,
That is so shady. It's like, did I not do that well, or did you like literally put no effort into this? I remember he
yeah.
was a video boy in Ehai's one of her music videos.
Oh,
I
really?
was like, all right, we see the vision. He started his own company. Yeah, one's by himself right now. I'm pretty sure he released a mini. Good for him. Because that is literally, like, I'm tired. I'm tired of YG literally just taking these people and not fulfilling their dreams. It's sick. Like, I will never justice for Sue Pearls, and that's on period.
Who?
So essentially, you know how Ihai is like popular. So essentially, when she was on, was it Superstar K or K-pop Star? I'm not sure. She was on she came from one of those variety shows, and so one of the things was that when she was in that variety show, there was like this group that she formed for one of like the challenges called Super Pearls, where it was her, Michelle Lee, I forget this third girl, but then it was actually also Jamie from who's formerly in
Oh,
YG. Yeah, and so they were like a group and they killed it. And they were like so good, so talented. And so essentially when like the show ended, obviously Jamie went to JYP. But initially E. Michelle, and I believe the fourth girl in that group, they were all got signed under YG. And so it was like, oh yo, they're about to like Sue Pearls, and then like he ended up just dropping the other two and just going ahead with like making Ihai famous. And I think it had to do with the fact that when she released her first like single under YG, it was really really popular. So YG was probably like, what did I say? No. They're like, yeah, y'all can leave. So that was like really really shitty because I think people were really excited because Michelle is like mixed. She's like half black, half Korean. So it was like, oh my
yeah.
god.
No, I just said yeah.
Yeah, so but then they like so it's like, oh my god, somebody who like looks as different as her is getting like a chance to be like at a large label, and they're like, and he was like, give me that, no. So
That's so
yes.
messy, especially because I like that one song by her. I'm beautiful without you.
Oh yeah, that was so beautiful.
I can't remember. Is it called Beautiful? No, I can't remember what it's called.
Okay, let me see. Soombi once again coming through. YG Entertainment has announced this is from 2013.
Without You, that's what it's called.
Yeah, that was a beautiful song. I'm gonna bring it up just so I have my facts correct. I have to get my facts straight.
Sad.
My facts straight. It's like I'm annoying. Let me stop. So here's the tea. Here's the mother effing tea. So this is an article from Soombi from 2013. Sue Pearls from K-pop Star. Oh, it was K-pop Star. Season 1 disbands before debut. YG Entertainment has announced that Sue Pearls, the former group from SBS K-pop Star Season 1 that attracted a lot of attention. The group was comprised of Michelle Lee, Park Jimin, Lee Jung-mi, and Lee Seung-ju. Oh wait, maybe I lied. Oh, okay, yeah. Originally, YG decided to sign into YG all the members except Park Jimin. Ehai was to replace Park Jimin's place. Okay, so there are two other
Why did they?
members that weren't Park
He dropped
Jimin.
Jimin.
I think because Jimin, she won, so she got to pick who she went with, and she went with
Oh,
JYP. He's trying to be like, I replaced her. No, she replaced you, honey. I don't know. Like, she
okay.
didn't.
I
You
was
never had the
like,
option.
she's so good. Why would you? I would have been like, oh no, you can come here.
But thank you for the correction, Soupy, because I kind of told that story. So IG stated on February 18th, although it is a shame I have decided to let Supergirl's members go, it will take too much time for them to debut as a group to fit the YG profile. I felt it would be
What?
better for the future of the members if we cancel the contracts without any conditions. YG added, it's not that there were any problems with the members, and it's not that they lack skill. I plan on helping them so that they can do well whenever they end up going. Ehai is going to release a comeback solo album. So yeah, that was a mess on his
Wait, what?
part.
What does that even mean? They're not gonna. They're not gonna fit the YG profile, as you guys already know. The YG profile that everybody knows about, right? You all know. We're gonna fit that. So yeah, we
Like,
gotta
what
drop
a
these.
mess. Like, that's so cheap. It's like,
Cool.
stop getting people's hopes up. Um,
It's so dumb too, because like I feel like this would have been a good group.
mhm.
They could have been hit big before Blackpink. Like,
It's
I
just a
mean,
mess. I feel like he felt that, like, I definitely think it was because, like, when Ehai, I think that she had that song that was like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, like, it was kind of like that.
what?
It was like, remember? It was like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Like, it was kind of like, oh, pretty baby, because you know how she sings, like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but like, I feel like YG saw that song started popping. They're like, dollar signs. We can get the popularity off one person, so we only have to pay for one outfit, one, blah blah. I feel like that they saw money
They
in
have
that.
money.
I feel like
Just
they
have
were.
to have a solo. They did that for all the 2anyone.
I feel like they were scared because the thing is, you know how Lisa, when Blackpink debuted, she was the first non-Korean, like ethnically Korean idol that they'd ever debuted. And so I feel like if it was before then, all their idols under there were Korean, right? So even though YG is known for being like different, blah blah, they never really had to overcome stuff like JYP or like SM had to overcome, where you have these non like ethnically Korean idols. That like you never know how they're going to be perceived or whatever. So I think they were probably scared because like Lee Michelle, she was very different, and like even though she did pop on K-pop Star, I felt like maybe they didn't know how it was going to be received, or in the group in general they didn't know if like they were going to be as popular as they were when they did their thing on K-pop Star. So he probably went with the sure bet with like they already had tested. I think Ehai came in second place in K-pop Star that season. So I was like, we already know that this girl is like it, and we released 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we already know that was popular. So let's just go and focus all our effort into this instead of putting her in a group that might, I don't know. Sindara Park better leave YG too. Do you think she's ever gonna leave? I don't know.
If, do I think if she's gonna leave?
Yeah.
What does she do?
Currently I feel like she hosts a lot of like does like a lot of hosting and stuff. Like every time I hear about her, it's like she's like, being the MC on a show. I don't think she's released music in a while, ever since like, why 2NE1 disbanded. And I'm not sure if she acts. I think most of the time I hear about her, it's like hosting gigs.
I mean, if that's what she wants to do, then she probably will stay.
Yeah. Um YGE could be SME if they just push artists to create music. Give me the music and I'll give you the money. Yeah, their approach is very strange. Like, it's just so strange.
Mm.
I love how you're applying SME and JYP treat their foreign idols well. No, that's not what I'm implying. I'm just saying they have foreign idols. And they were like before, I think YG ever even gave Foreign Idols a chance. I feel like they already gave Foreign Idols a chance. Because I mean, just reading about, what is it, Hangen, from the stuff that he had to endure, that alone, even though that was years ago, was just like really hard to read about. And I definitely think, like, you have like all like the things with Luhan and Tao and stuff like that. I just think it's one of those things where, and you know what, at the end of the day, it might just be for they're willing to give a chance on like Japanese idols and Chinese idols because they realize how that would work in their favor monetarily, because it's like, oh well, if you have a Japanese idol that's way in like a Korean group, maybe you'll appeal to Japanese people more. You'll already have somebody who's fluent in Japanese, and same thing with like having like a Chinese idol in there. But I think like with YG, it was a really long time before that ever happened. And you can also argue that why does he need to or whatever, but I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like YG was always this thing about being different, we're different, like that kind of thing. So it's interesting that they were the last group, one of the last big companies to take a gamble in that regard. So I mean, she's on shows. She has slash had her on TV reality shows. I wish she'd act. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Yeah, does she has her, yeah, I remember her, that she had her own YouTube channel. But yeah, so also, can we just like point blank say that like most idols are not, like, I don't want to say are not treated well, but like I feel like no company is perfect. Like I feel like especially with Big for Three, you always have this thing where people are duking it out who's the worst, but it's just like when you have a situation where making money is like the top priority, I feel like there's always going to be shady practices and stuff like that. I mean, yeah. And not just from companies, although obviously the worst. Even I feel like even sometimes fans, without knowing it, they also contribute to really toxic like standards and stuff. I don't know. But yeah, definitely not trying to imply that. Um, what was my next thing? Oh, yes. So, yes, there's that. Oh, well, since we're already talking about YG, we can just segue to the next topic. Oh gosh. Yeah, so for the next topic, I wanted to talk about, this one's probably really, really quick, but I guess she's coming. Machine Rose. We actually have concrete proof that we are getting her single. I think it was today, 2 days ago. She posted on her Instagram and she revealed that the date and the name of her first single. Let me pull it up. I'm different. I'm different. Let's see. All right. All right. So she posted to her Instagram a picture of her first single. It's going to be called On the Ground, and it's going to premiere on March 12th. So in the Instagram post, it had read the caption, "My very first single, On the Ground, is finally coming out on March 12th. To everyone who has been waiting patiently, thank you, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear the song." It's real. Like, I don't know why I'm just like, something's gonna happen, but I'm excited. I'm excited to hear it.
Sorry, I like played something and it was loud. I didn't even mean to play anything. I clicked on something and it burst into my ears. Is this like just one song though? I thought it was supposed to be like more than one.
It's an album, but I think this is like the lead single.
Okay.
The album's
Because
called
I know it's
R.
like a single album, which is such a weird. I've never heard of a single album. I've heard of EP. I've heard of like just an album. But a single album just sounds like, what is that? You just give me one song? Like,
So single albums, I think I'm more familiar with them because I liked J-pop so much, and so like I was very used to people like like I don't know if it's like a thing specific to Japan industry or maybe just J-pop, but like idols, they'll release like a single, and so like it's an album because it will have one the actual lead song and then one other single attached. So if you download the album, you'll get the two songs, or maybe it will have like an instrumental or something like that. Think like ITZY when they released Dalla Dalla, there was two songs. kind of
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
But isn't that
Yeah.
an EP? What's the difference?
So an EP is like a short album. So I think it's like I know that there's a limit on how many songs it can have to be considered an EP, but I think maybe you have to have like around like 4 or 6 songs. But like I think a single album is literally it comes from like when singles like back in the day when you would actually have a record and then you could have one song on one side and then flip it over and have the other side. So that's kind of like the A side and B side
Yeah.
concept. So that's like one single, but then you get like 2 songs with it. So I think single album specifically just having like those 2 songs, where like an EP is like a mini album. I don't think I've ever seen a mini album with less than 4 songs, and then like maybe like an instrumental. So I'm gonna say probably that's like kind of the range. And then obviously like an
Mm.
LP, that's like a full album. But yeah, I'm just it's just a single on a B side. Really? The whole album. Why name it album? Oh, first single album.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, single. That's what I was
Okay.
asking. I was like,
Well, I mean, I guess Jenny only had the one song, so maybe they're just taking it slow. So that
basically, gonna have three
I
due
feel
to
dumb.
4.
I feel dumb going on that whole tirade just for it to be a single album. Okay. Well, good for her. It's better than nothing. We're taking baby steps. I only
I
I
feel
got
like the enthusiasm just like dropped completely. Well, good for her. Let's just end this this whole entire
I feel so
segment and
bitter.
move on.
Yeah,
Forget
but
about this.
I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know what else to say except that, like, I'm excited for her to drop. I'm excited for her. She seems really excited. Jadella says, and then we have Luna with their EP 12 o'clock, consisting of 8 tracks, and Blackpink with a full album.
That's not an EP. It's not an EP. That's an album. 8 songs.
That's so, I guess, because the thing is, then there's albums with like Drake's albums be having 34 songs. I really do not know what the
Like,
like
what
standards
was it,
are.
BTS's? Like, what was one from last year? The On album was like 500 songs, and I was like, can we calm this down?
Wait, was that one a compilation?
I think it had like a mix of like whatever it was before. I don't remember it. Why
Ah.
can't I remember the album names?
If it was a
Suddenly,
compilation, I know their compilations be long as heck, but I think
it
there's
was like
like
they all had extra songs on there, and I was like, what
yeah,
is
I think
this?
sometimes you like put like maybe 3 or 4 extra songs and then you just like it's like a compilation. Bye Leanne. Leanne has to go, so everyone say bye to Leanne.
Uh,
Yeah, but overall I'm just really, really excited for her and I can't wait to talk about more when it drops. So I'm gonna speed through the next actually I only have one thing left. But I'm probably gonna speed through it for a bit because we're running a bit over time. But this next topic is not really like a proper topic. It was more of an article I found that had really, really interesting parts to it. That I wanted to discuss on stream. So, this article was written by Yu Sung Eun, and it was posted to the Korean Jungang Daily. And essentially, the article was titled "Girl Groups." Hold on. The article was titled "Girl Groups Breaking the 7 Years Curse." So the thing is, it was interesting because I thought it was a 5 year curse, not a 7 year curse. I can't really remember at
they
this
had to
point.
move it up.
Yeah, they're like, wait a second,
It was
they're
5
lasting
years,
too
and they're
long.
like, wait.
Yeah, I originally remember it being a 5 year curse, but that was probably way back in the day. So, if you guys don't know, the 5 year curse, and I guess now the 7 year curse, is the idea that, like, after 7 years and initially 5 years, groups like lose their popularity. And so, like, it's kind of interesting because the 7 year curse specifically, that's how long as like a contract can legally be. So it's kind of like from debut to the end, you'll have your peak in popularity and then your fall in popularity and then your contract ends and then you disband. But essentially this person took the angle of Oh My Girl, because specifically, if you guys don't know, Oh My Girl had a really great year last year, and that their song Nonstop blew up. They won, I didn't know this, but they won one of the best song awards at the 2021 Golden Disc Awards, and they also won Song of the Year at the 2021 Gaon Chart Awards. But the thing is, this year their seventh year. So it's interesting because while, a while ago, this would have been like the time where groups are winding down, they're essentially, I don't want to say just getting their start, but this is like, they had this banging year last year and they only can continue or will continue on that momentum. And this is like 6 years like into their like debut, 6, 7 years into their debut. So essentially, the article was just talking about how it's interesting because it's like you have that 7 year curse, but now you have a group like Oh My Girl who literally is, not only are they not cursed, but they're just getting started. And so, in the article, they explain how the curse has affected groups like 4 Minute, Miss A, Rainbow, and even boy groups like Zaya and 2PM. And, they went on to list like what they think are factors that contribute to the 4 year or the 7 year curse, which they, mentioned about how most idol contracts last 7 years. And I want to make it clear, just because, like, for example, Sistar, I think they disbanded, when did they disband? A couple years ago? But essentially they disbanded when their first contract was up for negotiation. And, like, while a lot of people, blame X, Y, and Z, some people might just not see idol as a career that they want to do until, like, well into adulthood. So you can 100 just, like, whether a group's popular or not, they can 100% choose just to not pursue it anymore because they never saw it as a long-term thing. But I think we also have to recognize that a lot of times people wouldn't see it as long-term things too. Like, they're like, oh, if you're an idol group, that's only going to last a couple years, so you better get as much money as possible because, you're going to be a has-been like 7 years from now or whatever. But I feel like this article is more leaning in the direction of when the idea that, like, groups can't make it for that long. It can't sustain popularity. So yes, in addition to the fact that most idol contracts are 7 years, as instituted by the Fair Trade Commission in 2009. By the way, I don't know if people know that, but JYJ paved the way for that, because it was because them fighting SM. That's why they can't have those 10-year contracts. And also the article mentions that, most groups peak and decline within those 7 years. And so one of the things that they mention is that how this disproportionately affects girl groups. And so I'm going to take a quote from the article where they say, this is especially true for girl groups whose fan bases are not as loyal as boy groups. Now we're going to put a pin in that, guys. Not as loyal as boy bands, and also whose popularity is affected more by aging, as members become older. Girl groups often face difficulty maintaining their initial public image, emphasizing purity, innocence, a popular style for young female K-pop groups. So I think this was interesting because I definitely think that was like a trend maybe during like second gen and stuff, that like you start as a more cuter group and then you expand to like a more mature group. Like, I feel like SNSD, the Blueprint, they had a more innocent, youthful vibe in the beginning, and then they started branching out to things like The Boys and more fun things, and sometimes dark concepts like Run Devil Run and stuff like that. But I think this was interesting because I know when third gen groups like Twice, Red Velvet, etc., started to crop up, Twice used to get a lot of criticism and hate. And I remember specifically a lot of people used to dog on Twice and say, they might be popular now, but once their male fans in particular find a cuter, younger girl group to stand, they're done for. And I know on top of that, funny enough, conversely, a lot of people use Twice Youth to like dog on SNSD, saying, oh, they're now being replaced. There's a younger, cuter group in Twice and like SNSD. So it's like really interesting. As much as like we don't want to like talk about that, sexism is real. So like aging, I feel like, the idea that aging, things like that disproportionately affect girl groups. But what I thought was interesting is that comments I didn't really see stuff like that about are like Red Velvet, right? Or like Blackpink. Well, I'll say that Blackpink, they got the criticism that YG will drop them as soon as like they get a cuter, younger version. And I feel like, it was Black Jacks being like, and then companies here. Their own companies are worst enemy. Right. Not us. But I feel like, it's almost like a crutch to start in that way, because I feel like people sometimes expect this certain thing or dog on you because they're like, you can only do that for so long. Sorry, I just have to close this. All right. So moving on, but specifically they point out that Oh My Girl has been able to last because they started with a fantasy-like concept rather than an innocent and bubbly style that a lot of girl groups rely on when they debut. They also mentioned that girl groups that debuted in the mid 2010s, such as Red Velvet, Lovelyz, Mamamoo, G-Friend, and Twice, who all debuted between 2014 and 2015, are still seeing success, which is very interesting. Way beyond past that like 12, that 7-year curse thing. And so they also make a note of the fact that the average age of girl group members is like increasing. So for Oh My Girl, their average age is 25.8, and like we said, they're just getting started in terms of like, they just had their best year yet last year, so it's like they're not on the verge of declining. And like A Pink, who's also doing very very well, their average age is 27.3. And also Irene, she turns 30 this year. Yeah, this year. And she's still like, the face of Red Velvet pretty much. Scandals aside, y'all, she's like, one of the most well-known members of Red Velvet. So he compared that to first gen groups SES and Finkel, and he noted that when SES like kind of stopped being active, I don't want to say disbanded because obviously they came back in recent years with like, one-off comebacks or whatever. But when they like stopped being active during their first initial run, it was when they were an average age of 20.6. And then they also mentioned that Finkel disbanded at age 25, like when they're the average age of 25. And so they go on to kind of mention that A Pink debuted in 2017 or 11, and they're still like being like very successful. Their song last year was very successful, and they kind of had like successfully been able to like transfer their image. And so it was just kind of this idea of like what people think is working for girl groups in particular, because I think in general you can stand a reason that groups are lasting longer as a whole, but with girl groups they have like their unique hurdles that they have to overcome. So what groups are doing and why you think, and not even what groups are doing, but how the world maybe around us has changed, that's making it easier for these girl groups to have loyal fans, consistent fans, and lifespans that last much longer. So I just wanted to end on the note that there was an anonymous former girl group member that the article writer interviewed, who was active in the early 2000s, that was mentioning how times changed. So this particular idol said, or former idol said, back in the day, female idol singers, including myself, were openly told, aren't you past your prime to be in a girl group, when they were only in their mid-20s. But now, compared to the past, people view girl groups differently, and the overseas market has become bigger, such a different time from our days. So essentially, after all that, I just wanted to pose like a question to you guys. Do you see a similar trend, and what do you think has been changing in terms of how people are viewing girl groups, or maybe the concepts girl groups are going with, or something, etc., that is helping people like be more loyal and be more supportive to them, where like a lot of these girl groups are going like toe to toe in terms of like physical sales and things like that with certain boy groups. And do you think it's only going to get better in the future, etc., so what are your thoughts?
Oh gosh. I think part of it might be like the fact that K-pop is becoming more international. So like I think international fans are getting more into it, and not to say that we're more loyal, it's just like you'll get more like of a chance of getting loyalty as your fan base expands outside of just Korea. So I think that is maybe part of like what is happening. I think people are probably also just becoming more open to just like if the music's good, like play it. Like why stop it? Just
Yeah.
because they're older than what you expected them to be. That's just kind of I don't know.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I definitely think when you have like a larger net to cast, you don't have to necessarily go with like for example, if there's a trend in Korea in terms of like the music maybe that like girl groups are releasing, you don't necessarily have to follow that, because if there's other trends going on in different other parts of the world, maybe you can cast a net and get fans in that part of the world. You don't necessarily have to think of that's like the only thing you can, the only thing you have to try to like appeal to.
Yeah.
I also think like I don't don't know, that whole thing about like idols being able to get older, like that has been really interesting to me, because I definitely think I came from a time where like age, like in terms of like when I got into K-pop, age was like one of the first things people like whipped out when they want to insult a girl group member. Like it's just, I mean, let's go as shortly back as to Gaia in Produce 101. People were just like, she's so old, even though she was only 1 year older than Eunbi. I will never understand. I feel like the thing that they wanted to say is that she looks old, which is just like
Yeah.
a whole nother thing. But it's just like a lot of that is based in like, as soon as, you know, SNSD, when they started to get older, ooh, they're too old to be X, Y, and Z. I remember Soojin from Girls' Day. But she when she was like rumored to be dating Dio, people were just like, this freaking grandma, like it's like such a go-to. Even I feel like Irene, I think because she was so beautiful, maybe it wasn't as bad, but I do think people were
Yeah.
just kind of like, she's how old, like back in the day when it was just like, and maybe it was like into relation to her and I think Yeri being like 10 years apart. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like that was such a big deal. Like it was just like, are you really gonna do this when you're this old, blah blah. But I definitely think people don't care as much, like at least they don't
Yeah.
mention it, or they just know that's like a stupid insult to throw at somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
um
Kind of reminds me like modeling. Modeling used to also just be like, once you're 26, it's over. Like, get the heck out of here. Like, I remember watching like was it America's Next Top Model, and they would just be like, yeah, I'm 24 and I'm like already at the end of my road. And it would just be like, hey, grandma. I was like, dang, calm down. It's not
Jeez.
that old.
Oh wait,
It's not that bad.
remember not young from Produce 101. I remember when she was talking about
Which one?
the one who was in Pristine, not young.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was talking about how like when she went on Produce 101, I forget how old she was at the time. I mean, it must have
Isn't
been,
she like a year younger?
I think. So how old would that have been? Like 20, early 20s. And Chama might have said this too, but they're like, this was my last like chance essentially, and it's like you're 21.
That's like freaking Ong Sung-woo.
Oh, did he say
And
that too?
yeah, he was like, I'm getting old. And I was like, sir, you got a whole 27-year-old that just made this group. Like, like, no, you're not at the end of your road at all. Like, just keep it going.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump in the chat right now. Prim says idol groups are really set up for longevity because the companies eventually focus on younger, newer groups. Idol groups are also a stepping stone for other more stable things like acting. That's true. Can we talk about A Pink, one of the few, if not only, second girl groups still promoting? Honestly, give them their flowers. Prim says, I like that A Pink changed their style. I'm more interested in that. Yeah, it's true. It's almost like they live two lives. Yeah, because I was gonna say
gosh,
you're
I
another
did
one.
not care about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the whatever the other one that sounded like that one. That they're Chew?
Chu, absolutely Chu.
I don't even know if that was the one. I was just not into that. And you didn't like, you like that song, but you didn't like freaking Gugadon's debut song. That was literally the same type of.
You know,
Yes.
I will say that the outfits blinded me a bit because they just were ugly. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, true. But like the song,
It was alright.
was so catchy. Catchy. I still remember it. I only listened to it like what, twice. Catchy.
You're like,
I'm
I
lying.
stand.
I've listened to it a lot.
For 2 streams. Um, okay, Andre says, I feel like the general public needs to stop dogging female idols out for just getting older. I saw people talking Sugar Honey Iced Tea on Boa like she's an aging hag. It's crazy because literally for the life that she lived, she is really young. Like to think that she's done all this and she's only 30. I feel like it's sometimes like it's gotta be kids or like sexist people. Well, obviously it's sexist people or kids that think like 30 is really, really old or something. Because it's just like, how is that old for all this like even like just age aside, like factoring in everything she's accomplished, it's just like, what are you even talking about? Shut it down.
Yeah.
Shut down the whole show. Prim says people will talk like their favorites will never age and will always be on top. That's so true. It's funny. It's really funny because it's like, okay, don't hate me, but it's interesting let me just be vague so nobody drags me. It's very interesting seeing people who are fans of top groups now acting or maybe presenting the idea that their faves like achievements will never be topped, nobody will ever reach the heights, nobody blah, blah, blah. Because this is the same thing that people were saying about like certain really popular groups in the second generation. So it's really funny because those same people, when their currently on top groups were rising, they used to get so annoyed that those previously top groups, like legendary groups, would always say that nobody would ever top them. And now they're spitting the same rhetoric. It's truly like life is so cyclical. Because I feel like a lot of people don't understand that if your faves topped the people before them, your faves are also toppable. And you can push the idea that, well, the only reason they would get copped is because my faves created a platform for them to get popular or expand and like, even go further off. And it's like, yes, similar to how your faves benefited from the people before them that are popular. It's like people
now everyone try and guess what she's talking about. What group is it? Put it in the comments. Let's think about it.
I'm gonna be
drag her.
I'm not talking about anyone in particular. Wait, okay. Tadella says, going on from what Jas is saying, I think Western fans are fixated on the image that K-pop idols and idols in groups have a young age average. So when they see somebody over, they get
confused.
Oh, confused.
I'm guessing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that's true. Like when somebody's like, when everyone's like, yeah, I guess that's really true when they see an older. I feel like kind of like good though when I see an older idol, because sometimes it's a situation where somebody maybe was trying for a long time and they finally got their break. Sometimes it's somebody who maybe, lived one life and then maybe they're like, you know what, I want to try to go for my dreams or like pursue something differently. And so they just had a 100% career change. Like I feel like there's always like an interesting story about idols that aren't like, 16 or like 18 when they debut.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Esther G says about Nayoung, she wasn't even that old. I think she was 19. Please, oh my God, I hope she was not. Imagine she's like, it's about sunrise or sunset for me, y'all. Y'all be easy now. Like, oh my God.
That's scary. That's not old at all.
Yeah. But there is an age hierarchy in Korea. I'm not sure how many protections there are for ageism. I mean, I feel like there's an age hierarchy, but I feel like, sexism, not even just sexism, but ageism in general affects everywhere. Like the idea that like you're gonna not be as handsome. Well, it affects everything, but I feel like I don't know, because I'm a woman, I guess. Like I am more sensitive, or like I think I can understand more how it affects women. And I think like a lot of times, like even if you are like that, like somebody name or whatever, people still will come for you. I remember this one time Ikori, and it was joking, don't get me wrong, they were joking, but I remember a long time ago on Family Outing, Ikori, she was a fixed cast member on that, and Son Denbi was like a at the time she had that nega mi just, she was like a rising new hot star. And so like they kept joking that like Ihori is like gonna be replaced by her and like it's her time and Ihori's old news. And I'm just like, calm down. Like two women can exist at the same time. I know it's like playful picking, but I'm just like, why does that even have to be a thing? Like they can both be popular. Andre says, I remember Khan saying that either her or Nayeon were going to be added to after school. Oh, snap. I don't know. Would I want it to be added? I guess like I would just want to make a debut, but I don't know. Khan was not old. She was 24 at the time she did. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, it was coming from a lot of pieces, because this is why I can't do survival shows, because people get so nasty and will literally come for anything if that means that if they can take that one person out, it's a spot that's now available for their face. But like so many people were just like, people who I thought like that I would, discuss, produce 24, 48, with like on a daily basis who seem like well-adjusted people. When the tough got going and going got tough, people were just like, I don't know if she would really fit the image. She looks so old. And even when she got kicked out, people were making so much excuses as to why it makes sense that she didn't make the lineup. And I was just like, y'all will use anything. Andre says, oh, I remember when YG was doing the Mix 9 auditions and he dodged this one of the female contestants for having multiple debuts and getting older. I'm just like, what? It's so...
That sounds like YG.
Yeah, I know.
YG's annoying me. I don't know why he was even judging.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like there was a race to launch younger and younger idols a few years ago. Like NCT Dream used to have a lot promo. I wonder, because the thing is, I want to say that it's innocent, not really, but I want to say that it's the idea that if you're going to market them to young people like seeing themselves reflected in the stuff they watch. So it's like, a 13-year-old would love being a fan of a 14-year-old idol because they feel closer to them and they can understand them or whatever. But I also think there's probably a lot of predatory practices, and obviously not just exclusive to K-pop industry, but like, JoJo, the singer, debuted when she was 13 and like blah blah. I feel like it's like that control thing, like trying to tell a 24-year-old what to do versus trying to tell a 13-year-old what to do. Who do you think you're gonna like? Not saying that you can't be manipulated or coerced or taken advantage of at those ages, but at the same time, I feel like it's easier, especially if your parents maybe are new to showbiz and don't know what they're doing either,
or they're greedy.
True.
What I feel like a lot of the children stars that go crazy or have episodes, their parents are like gold diggers, or just like not even gold diggers, they're just leeches.
Yeah.
Like Lindsay Lohan, her mom is not it. Neither is her dad, but
it's quite sad. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Sorry. Okay. And then she was able to start a solo career because people are pissed at why Jean started performing. Like, it's like, what does it matter? Like, and that's the thing that's so weird, because it's like, if I could do my job, i.e. singing and dancing, what does it matter how old I am? Like, there's not a certain age limit where you can... That's honestly... Okay, let me get into my whole feminist theory. That's why I always get really sensitive when people, like, when women especially do something and then somebody comes through with it. Aren't you too old to do that? Specifically, I think, like, when it comes to women doing anything where it might involve them being attractive, might be, like, something that, like, is... not necessarily necessary, but is like maybe integral. So like obviously in entertainment industry, looks are going to matter, whether that's like you have to be really attractive or like to play a part you have to look a certain way to play a part or whatever. But like, for example, I cosplay, and like, there's always that fear that, oh, you can only do this until you're like 31 or something like that. And it's such a weird idea to have, or modeling, like you were saying, Jas, modeling, it's such a weird idea that there's an upper limit to it. Because it's like, as long as I can walk the runway or I can pose, why does it matter I'm old? Like, why are you putting an upper limit on it? And I feel like it's just really, like, gross. And it's like that whole, like, obsession with young women, like young girls, and like starting things really young. Because it's just like, oh, if we tell people it's 30, being 25, 26 makes you too old, they're going to want to start when they're 13. And then we have a fresh crop of like young girls who we can take advantage of. Like, that's the vibe I get. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's what I get. So in the same way, it's like, oh, if blah, 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 then the younger people, like the more we shame older people for getting into those hobbies or industries, that means the more pressure it's going to be to start them younger, which means there's more vulnerable people we can take advantage of. That's my personal opinion. Anyway. I wonder if IZ*ONE gonna have the produce curse. Am I sure? Honestly, I really don't know. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen to the end of... All I know is I think Sakura is good.
It's like, does that mean like your group's gonna fail?
That like not many people are gonna survive outside of the after the group disbands. But I really don't know. I know Wonyoung and Yujin are good. I know the girls that can group up. I think the girls that can group... I mean, I think they've always maintained...
The girls that grouped up failed.
That's true. Oh, yeah. You know what? You're right. Who knows?
I guess.
Who knows? Honestly, who knows? Who knows?
Moving on. They grouped up. and that was a fail.
No. Honestly, I hope it's like kind of like, you know how EXID laid out the playbook as what to do when you have a popular song. Maybe these previous groups laid out a playbook of what not to do when you have popular idols that just got fresh off of their produced group, like how to behave. Like I would say for Wonyoung and Yoojin, don't put too many people in the group. Maybe 3 other girls max. Like don't try to stuff it with everyone and their mama. Who else? Who else? Sakura. I think Sakura will be fine just like being solo, like an individual. I think she's gonna leave HKT. I mean, she might not, but I feel like it's good because with AKB48, from what I'm sensing, it's like a group, but you also are very much looked at as an individual. So it's like she could still be in that group, but still just do her individual activities. So, Jadella says that can also turn into a race issue for a lack of a better term. Commenting on things, aren't you too dark to play that character cosplay? Yeah, people, and it's so funny because I noticed that the most people who be doing this as in like criticizing cosplayers are people who don't even cosplay themselves. And not to say that you can't critique, but it's like if you don't know what goes into it, who are you like saying somebody's too dark? So can I only cosplay characters that look exactly like me? Because honestly speaking, that's gonna be like 5 people. And what if I don't like those people? I'm gonna pour $100 into costumes and stuff just so I can make a random person on the internet happy. Like, no, thank you. And they do put these young kids into debt so early in their lives. Yeah. And how if a girl group does anything remotely sexual on stage, they get dragged for filth, but if a boy group literally humping and grinding, it's oh my god, Oppa pickling. I think it's true. I think guys can jump like between those images like really. Like I always felt with SNSD, they like would whip out their super sexy stuff during like their like concerts and stuff, like you know like the dance breaks and stuff. But I feel like they're always like even if it's supposed to be a little more sexier, it was always like a fine line between what they could do. And I feel like it's because they knew if they crossed over that line, they'd start getting hate in the way that groups like Sistar or Stellar did for being considered a lot more sexier. But I feel like once you do that sexy thing, people are like, oh, you're just a fox. Like, how dare you do that? Versus like 2PM's, literally there was a point in time where 2PM's concept was shirtless. Like that was
I was gonna say, all I could imagine was him ripping off his shirt.
Exactly. And was I upset about it? No. But I did hate the fact that like they could, you know, go back between all these things and still like, you know, turn around and do Aegyo and stuff and people were like, ah, the duality. But then like when a girl group tried to do it, they're like, weren't you just in high heel chancletas and short shorts? Don't try to act cute and innocent now.
Yeah. I honestly think when guys go between those, it's so interesting. I'm just like, that's like TVXQ. Like, what? Sometimes I'm like, okay, you're out here doing neurotic, and then you're out here like doing hugs. It's just like this. Whoa.
And even Red Balloon.
And they're like looking all soft. They're like looking the like in the camera, like, okay, calm down. How did we get here? Like, I'm not mad, but like also
exactly. I'm conflicted because okay, I like what you're offering, but also sexism. Yeah, okay, it's 12 a.m. right now, so I think we can wrap it up.
Wow, yeah.
But did anyone? Oh, any last words, Jess?
I feel like I saw something, but now I don't remember what I was going. I was like, I'm gonna say this on Saturday, and then I don't remember what it was.
Oh, you don't have anything for the.
I know. I think it had to do with that, but I'm like, what was it?
He just exists. You know him.
Also, why is Free Saikuno trending?
Oh my god, Free Saikuno. He got thrown in jail.
Oh gosh, just imagine.
Imagine a world like that. Oh, imagine a world.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also,
I think he posted a picture, and I was like, "Oh, so cute," and then that was it.
So everyone was like, "Jail, what?" Oh God, Stan Twitter is so weird. No, Tao, what's up? Love it when YouTube doesn't give me my notives. They freaking hate success. I'm so sorry. We're about to wrap up too, but thank you for stopping by. Dang it. I thought that's so crazy because I always thought that YouTube was actually a lot better with giving out notifications than like Twitch. Like for YouTube, it usually is instant, but for Twitch, it's like we'll just wait a couple. We'll let it simmer. Like,
I don't even have like the notifications on for Twitch, so I have to look at my email to know if something's happening. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
honestly, they do be a lot. If you follow a lot of people, they're just like, hey, don't watch this. And I'm just like, please,
But nope.
I have children.
Okay.
Yeah. But when is the marriage to Dio? Well, you know, we're looking at summer dates right now, so
And by we, she means her.
when I'm asleep,
No,
I do
no.
look at summer dates in my dreams. How's Jay Jas? You don't know.
You just posted a picture. That was it.
Oh. You look like, come on, step it up, Shima. I'm trying
Honestly,
to.
I'm like, where's like go on a show, do something. I mean, he did a magazine shoot, but like I can only look at that like how many times? Like it's already happened.
It's just a picture. You see it and you've saw it.
Oh wait, he's gonna have something for his birthday, but like once again, that's 20 days from now. So like, what am I doing? Like,
We need the content king. Come on. EXO comeback this year? Really?
oh yeah, okay. So that is there we go. I think I saw something about that. I saw something about an EXO comeback, and I was like, "Ooh, wait, hold on.
All right.
Is this real?" But I never actually looked into it.
Oh, it better be real. Let's see. So Suho's in the army. Did Chanyeol already go or he's just gearing up to go?
I think he's about to go.
Okay. The no
Don't know when.
So it's Dio, Shimin, Kai, Sehun, Lay maybe. I don't know what that young man does. Lay, who else? Oh, Baekhyun. When does Baekhyun have to go?
Sometime this year, probably.
Okay. Hopefully they do it before then. And I guess like we can count Chanyeol if he's not gonna leave yet. But so that's actually a good majority of them. That's good.
Yeah. And they'll have two vocalists, main vocalists, and then
I'm excited.
that's all you need.
I hope they come back. Tao says me and Suho getting married next December. Write it down. Y'all invited. We're about to have a triple wedding, so it's already done. It's done now.
And they won't even know.
Oh, Giselle says, "Oh my God, I started playing Agent A because of your Twitch stream." Says, "It's so good." Oh yeah, you don't have it. Do you have a? You don't have a Switch, do you, Jess?
Remember I told you I played it.
Oh. Okay.
Remember we were talking about it? I was like, yeah, you're like, play it. And I played it. Remember that?
Sorry. Listen, I have the memory of a goldfish. This is something. We're just going to have to say, dang.
What was that, like 4 months ago? I don't even remember anymore. Like years ago now.
But yeah, that's a good one. It is. So honestly, I just want to find all the good like room escape games. But what I really like about that game is that it's a room escape, but it's not like like, you know how like all of them are just so like somber. Like, have you ever played The Room? Like, it's just like I don't know.
What game is that?
The Room. The Room.
Is that on Android?
I think it's on literally everything. It's on you can
Is it on phone?
Yeah, it's on phone. You can get it. I think you can get it on the Switch. You can get it on like just like your computer. But it's just like very like Da Vinci's Code. Go to the room. Like, it's like,
Oh, it costs money. Yeah,
yeah, it's really.
But I have room escape games on my phone that are like the free ones.
Yeah, but this
Like,
one
there's one called Tiny Room.
Tiny Room.
I don't know if it's free actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I might have used my free money that I got.
Well,
that one's a good one.
send me the racks. But I really like how they have like a cute story. It's cute. It like goes with the theme. It's not just like go to the bathroom like Les Miserables. Les Miserables room escape. Like, what? Who made Da Vinci Code?
Is it just a ghost talking to you the whole time? Is that how it works?
I don't know. Go too. It's just they're always really just like somber and just dark. So this one was like bright.
That's true, yeah.
But yeah. All right. So thank you. Oh wait, sorry. Andre said Becky's come back as well. Ooh, that's good.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we'll
I also saw something for his fashion thing.
Primitive.
Some barcode shirt, which probably costs like $200,000.
I was gonna say.
Tell me if you get it.
Be easy
tell me
now.
which army sold.
Prim says, I'm not sure if they're coming back before Chenyo goes, but or not because he's leaving at the end of the month. Oh, he's leaving at the end of the month? Okay, yeah, then definitely not. There's no way they can put that together. So it's going to be a Chenyo list comeback. Oh, dang. All right. Well, I think that's good. Once again, thank you everyone for coming through tonight. It was a great stream. And make sure to follow me on Twitch because I try to stream on both platforms, but I think I stream more there. But we play games. I was supposed to have a game show this week, but I ended up taking yesterday off. So I will be back with a new game show. I don't know if I want to save it, but it's essentially, it plays with the idea of the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but I've kind of tweaked it so it's like me against chat. So you'll wanna be there or be square. But as always, I'm gonna put it in the chat. My Twitch, just in case you want to follow. And Jazz, have you started your streaming platform yet? Everyone bully her. Will you ever actually start one?
I keep thinking about it, and then I'm like, that's a lot of work. And I got to talk to people.
Well, you can just play Valorant and just ignore everyone.
and they'll be like, wow, you can't shoot. Like, the person was right in front of you. And I'm like, you're right. I can't shoot. That's what I'm trying to practice. I can be better.
Well, you can put, there's like a no backseat gaming tag. I mean, people are going to probably say something anyway, but like, you'll be like, hey, read the tag and then ban them.
And I gotta stop in the middle of fighting, like shooting someone, trying to ban them at the same time.
Here, I'll be your mod, and if anyone says anything sideways, I'll be like, I'm gonna hit you with this ban. She's doing perfect. Shut up. And I'm like, wait, no. Oh wait. Oh no, I'm sorry, red light. Yeah, we're wrapping up. This is honestly what is it? Endurance stream. That's 3-hour stream. So honestly, that's my goal this year. Sometime this year, like there's these some people call them endurance stream. A lot of them call them subathons or whatever. But it's like when you stream for like a long time. So some people do like 24 hours, some people do 12 hours or something. I usually stream 2 or 3 hours at a time. So for me, I'll be like dead an hour in. And they're like, what? You're only an hour in. But I would really love to do and like make it some type of like, oh, stay up all night. Although it's not going to be night for everyone, but like, you know, I'll stay up all night, you know, variety stream or something. That's like, I have to build my way up to that though, because I'm like, I would have to have a lot of things like planned throughout the stream so it doesn't get boring. Because I was watching this one girl do it and literally she literally just put on some YouTube and fell asleep. So our chat was just watching YouTube with her sleeping in the background. Oh. I was like
and people probably sat there and watched it. She probably still got donation.
I was like, don't hit the player, hit the man. Hit you with that ban. ban. Hello, Mod J is gonna heart. I'll be the worst mod. I'm like, what did you? They'll be like, good morning. I'm like, good morning. It's night for some people. Ban.
How dare you not think about people on the other side of the earth? Damn.
They're like, good game, Jazz. I'm like, good game, good games. Ban.
You missed the other one.
You came late. I'm like, I think your mod is mad with power. I'm like, mind your business. You have nobody in the chat because I banned all of them.
Banned yourself.
I'm like, wait, no. I was like, it's what I deserved, unfortunately. Saikuno tries to come and raid you. I'm like, raiding her. It's like, that's a good thing. I'm like, well, you know.
I wish I
See,
me, whatever.
This is the thing. That's why you need to stream so you can meet him.
So much work.
And then he'll add you to his Valorant lobbies and Among Us lobbies. It's set in stone. All right.
Beauty, though. Like he's trolling. We have to vote him out. I don't know. He didn't even open his mouth. We had to like, it's him. I don't know. Rules. I didn't make them at all.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, guys, for coming through. I was about to say, who am I gonna raid? But this is YouTube. But thank you guys so much. Yes. I think I already said have any. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye. All right, let me end.
And he streamed for 7 minutes. 7 minutes, 7 hours.
I streamed for 7 hours?